Grove, our second stint here. All kinds of memorabilia reminding us of Philadelphia Eagle football as they take on the Washington Commanders on Sunday in the NFC title game, a game that I think they will have no problem. However, today, at least in the first part of the show, and Bill Colarulo's here, Ray is back at the studio. We got the whole gang here of engineers and helpers, and we're all buttoned down here for this show. But what I want to do today, Bill, in addition to previewing this game, and we already know what we're going to say and how the Eagles have an edge and how Washington's a team of destiny and all that stuff, I would like today to purge all the worries of Philadelphia Eagles fans. There are a lot of worries out there, and we haven't had much success purging it this week. I think a lot of people are laying in the weeds, a little nervous about it, and that's why they're not coming out proclaiming that the Eagles are the superior team and they're going to win and go to the Super Bowl. So I would like to purge the worries today, Bill. Are you with me with that?
Yeah, man, I'd love to purge the worries because I don't think fans should have them. I think this is a great opportunity to get to a Super Bowl, baby.
All right, let's go down the list of worries, okay? Worry number one, the major worry, is that the Eagles' passing game will be too inferior to win a game when they have to win a game if by chance the Washington Commanders do limit Saquon Barkley. You got that worry?
Yeah, that's been a worry from a lot of people all season, that the passing game is going to come back to haunt them. It hasn't happened yet, so let's hope it continues.
All right, let's go with the injury worries now. One thing that's been underplayed this week, the center, Cam Jurgens, is a little banged up, did not practice yesterday. And, of course, we have Quinyon Mitchell coming back from injury, and we have Jalen Hurts coming back from injury. So let's talk about that worry. How worried are you about those three key players being banged up?
The Cam Jurgens one makes me a little bit concerned because it's not just affecting one position, it's affecting two positions on the offensive line. Because if Jurgens can't go, from the reports from practice yesterday, they moved Landon Dickerson over to center. So now you've moved your left guard to center. Well, who's going to now play left guard? It's going to be Tyler Steen. Tyler Steen and the reps that he's gotten this year have been at right guard. So now you've weakened your left guard position. You've weakened your center position because as good as Dickerson is, he hasn't played center since college. So that is a concern for me because what we keep saying about how good this Eagles team is the offensive line. Best offensive line in football. Well, when now you've weakened two main positions right there in the center of your offensive line, I do think that's a valid concern.
Okay, so let's grade this as we continue this whole thing. The passing game, your worry from 1 to 10 would be what?
I would say a 3, only because I don't think they're going to need it necessarily.
All right, I have a higher number than that. But I agree with you that they may not need it, but it's certainly a worry if they do need it. So I'll go to a 6. Jurgens and Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Hurts, 1 to 10 level of worry.
I'd put that as an 8, especially if you're going to combine all three, because I just mentioned not having Jurgens, what it does to the offensive line. Not having 100% Jalen Hurts also affects your rushing attack. So if we think the Eagles are going to lean on their running game, which I think everybody does, if you have a weakened offensive line and you have a quarterback that now can't take advantage of the +1 in the RPO and the zone read game, it's going to affect Saquon Barkley as good as he is. So I would put that at an 8 level concern.
All right, and Quinyon Mitchell coming back banged up against Terry McLaurin. Level of worry.
I'm not as worried, especially because it was a shoulder type of injury. So I don't think that's going to affect him in covering Terry McLaurin. Still got his legs. He's still going to have those coverage skills. So I'm not as concerned about Quinyon. If he gets cleared to play, I think he'll be just fine.
Your number?
A 3.
A 3. All right. Game 2 for Oren Burks in a starting role. Zach Ertz, Oren Burks.
And this may come back to haunt me. Zach Ertz doesn't scare me. I mean, I know it's Zach Ertz. He's a Philadelphia Eagles legend. You look at his numbers in the playoffs. It's not like he's setting the world on fire. He's not the same guy. Now, he may make a big catch here or there, but I don't have as many concerns about Zach Ertz. Now, there's another guy that maybe concerns me a little bit, and that would be Austin Eckler out of the backfield. We know he has the ability to catch the football. If he gets matched up on Oren Burks, does that come back to get him? But I thought Burks played really well last week, stepping in for Nakobe Dean. The guy's had experience playing in big games. He played in the Super Bowl last year. I'm going to put that as a 3 as well. I think Oren Burks will be just fine.
All right. The team of destiny. The Commanders being the team of destiny. A lot of people like to go metaphysical. And this is the team that, look at this team. They're going to get to they're a surprise team to get to the Super Bowl. Your level of worry.
Can I give a negative number?
Oh, not worried at all.
I would give a 0.
A 0.
The team of destiny thing means nothing to me. And I told you before, I stopped thinking about teams of destiny after 4th and 26 when the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Green Bay Packers and then come back the next week and lose to the Panthers. I thought for sure, they're a team of destiny. I felt the same thing when Jeff Garcia stepped in and carried the Eagles all the way to that, a divisional round matchup against the Saints, and they lost. Teams of destiny mean nothing. This is the real world. This is sports. I'm putting that at a 0 concern that the Commanders are a team of destiny.
A.J. Brown waking up. He has been very silent the last 2 games. And, 10 yards, 14 yards in his last 2 games? And that's with the book.
That's with the
level
book.
of worry.
Now, I would put that along with the passing offense concerns, being a 3. I think, if anything, that would be a concern for the Commanders to look at this Eagles team and say, wait a second, this team is continuing to win. They're continuing to put up a lot of points, and A.J. Brown hasn't done anything. It's only a matter of time when a receiver as good as A.J. Brown is going to have a breakout game. So I'm not putting that as a concern for the Eagles. I'm putting it as a concern for the Commanders. So for me, 0 if I'm grading it from an Eagles perspective.
All right, Jalen's mobility.
That's a big one. That's a big one because it could affect the rushing attack. We know how much more effective Saquon Barkley was in the second game against the Commanders when Jalen Hurts was in the game. Once Kenny Pickett came in and the Commanders realized we don't have to worry about the +1 in the rushing attack, they started really attacking Saquon Barkley. And I forget what the exact number was, but they created a lot of negative plays in that game. The Eagles don't usually have negative plays outside of sacks. We could talk about that. But in the rushing attack, if they're going to key on Saquon, Jalen has to have that ability to pull it and take it around the outside on those read options. So that is a level of concern. Now, all reports yesterday was the guy looked good at practice. Jalen Hurts looked good at practice. So I still would put that maybe around a 7 or an 8 along with the injuries to Jurgens.
And finally, as we go into our first break of the show, your worries about the kicker.
I know you're worried about this.
Jake the Snake Elliott.
You got to qualify this. Are we worried about him on extra points or field goals?
It's general worry, because I'm worried both areas.
I know you're very worried about it, and I've said this before. I'll say it again. Until Jake Elliott shows me that he can't make a clutch kick in a big moment, that's when I'll worry. He still has the clutch gene. He still makes the kicks when they matter. Last week, 44-yard field goal in the snow.
What was the number?
In a tie game.
What was the number? What? 44?
I know. Once he's over 50.
All right. You don't worry. I worry. When it gets to when it gets to the 50 area, they're going to have to make a field goal there. I'm a little worried. So this is the goal of today's show is to get all these worries. And I know you're thinking the same thing out there. Just pretend it's like scrap wood, and you're throwing in it a big trash can at the 9th Street Market. And you're lighting it. Put all the worries in there, and the flame to come up in that barrel that never seems to get burned. It's amazing to me. It never melts down.
Are we going to stand around it and sing, do-do-do-do, take it back, do-do-do-do? You know what I'm talking about.
We're going to go, green peppers, 4 for $2.
4 for $2.
610-632-0975. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of surprises for you, including, and I don't even have any recollection on how this interview went, but somewhere along the line today, we're going to play the interview that I did with Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Who called into the show on the celebrity call-in contest that we did so many years ago. The Biebs called in. And apparently that's out there in YouTube land. So we're going to play that for you because I have no idea what it sounds like. All right? It's the Mike Missanelli Show, live at Rally House in Willow Grove. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
How about we
I got a little bit of a voice thing going today, like you did last time we were here 2 weeks ago. I don't know what this is weird. It's like I think I have the precursor of a cold, but I don't know what it is. It's like when my left nostril has the tickle that is making me sneeze. Is that the beginning of a cold? In your experience?
Man. I don't know. I got a JD, not an MD. No idea.
So the voice is starting. I think the cold is coming on since our studio is a bacteria frap. I managed to skirt the illnesses that have beset many others. There's 97.5 The Fanatic,
but there is something going around, not just at the station. I know probably 30 people who have been sick in the last 2 weeks, so something's going around.
All right. So one of the things that, though there are a lot of subplots to this game, but one of the major subplots that came up is something that Joe Witt said. Joe Witt Jr., the defensive coordinator, he kind of put a bounty. Is that close to putting a bounty on Jalen Hurts? If he runs the ball, we're going to treat him like a running back. We're going to hit him.
Yeah, I think we have the audio too, but I thought it was an interesting thing to say as the defensive coordinator, because now what you've done is you've signaled to the referees going into this game, hey, we're gonna maybe take a shot at Jalen Hurts. I think you've put the referees on high alert. I don't think it's going to change the way the Eagles approach this game. I think it's going to change the way the referees approach this game.
A little roughing the passer, roughing the quarterback, that kind of thing. I would throw the flag. It would benefit the Eagles.
Well, here's what I think may happen. I would not be surprised, knowing that this Commanders team is a little bit dirty. I mean, you've seen it. Frankie Louvu took a cheap shot at Jalen Hurts in the last game. They tried to get under the skin of the Eagles, and they did it effectively. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson gets thrown out of that game, if you remember. I would not be surprised if they go into this game and Dan Quinn and Joe Witt tell this defense, you get one. You get one shot at Jalen. I don't care if it's late. Take it. That's, honestly, it may be a little dirty. That may not be a bad message if I'm on the other side saying, take a shot at him. Make him know it's going to be a long day if he's going to
In other words, like a hockey penalty? You take a 15-yarder to send a message?
Correct. That's exactly what they may do. But the Eagles need to be disciplined, because if they do that, you want to stick up for your guy, but you can't cross the line. Take the 15 yards. Let them know we're not going to tolerate it, but it's going to be up to the referees, and this is where Sirianni and that coaching staff has to make sure the refs know. You protect Patrick Mahomes. We've seen how much you protect Patrick Mahomes. You better protect Jalen Hurts.
All right, let's hear from Joe Witt Jr. Right? Do we have Joe Witt back there with this quote?
We've had a number of these guys that we've had to prepare for, and so the one thing is if he's going to run the ball, and if the coordinator makes a decision for him to run the ball, we're going to treat him like a running back, and we're going to hit him that way. So that's their decision if they want to get him hit the way that he gets hit. If they don't, they'll keep him in the pocket. So, but that's what we're going to do.
Oh,
a little bravado, right?
It is a little. I like it. I would say the same thing. I get my defensive guys jazzed up about that. Now, I don't think it's going to matter, but I like the approach. Yeah, run, okay. Maybe that'll alter the way you call plays, and that's one less thing for us to worry about that he's going to keep.
Now, I know you've gotten mad at me for complaining about the calls that Patrick Mahomes gets, but if the refs don't protect Jalen Hurts, then I'm going to lose my mind, because you have the rules in place to protect the quarterback. I know there are a lot of people out there who don't like the modern rules. They go over the top in trying to protect the QB, but that's just the reality of the modern NFL. You can't pick and choose who you protect. If you're going to protect Patrick Mahomes, then you also need to protect Jalen Hurts in this football game. And if they're going to take a cheap shot, they better throw the flag. Because he didn't get the call last week against the Rams going out of bounds. Refs didn't throw the flag.
That should have been a flag.
I think it should have been.
Yep, I agree.
I think other quarterbacks would have gotten that call. They need to protect Jalen Hurts. And listen, same thing applies to Jaden Daniels. We know he has the ability to scramble. He did it against the Eagles in the last game, especially on that fourth down call. Remember, it was 4th and 1. I think he picked up 30-something yards. Eagles got to hit him legally when they can, but I expect the refs to try to protect both quarterbacks in this game. You don't want to see a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. Maybe the Eagles would. Some of these fans are crazy, but you don't want to see a Super Bowl with the backup quarterback.
All right, so if Jalen Hurts runs to the sidelines, like he does, he usually runs to the right sidelines to get out of danger, where he throws the ball. Suppose he just doesn't throw the ball, but he sees a guy charging at him. He slows down to take a bump before he goes out of bounds. You're telling me that would be unethical?
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts wouldn't do that. Patrick Mahomes did it.
Let me ask you a question.
And it was
You ever
unacceptable.
play pickup basketball?
Yeah, of course.
All right, play pickup basketball. You get the ball. You're running it up the floor. You got the ball. You're running up the floor. The defender is trailing you.
Yeah, so you
right?
stop, you take the bump.
You slow up. You like he's going full speed. You slow up because you get the advantage of him not getting out of the way. He bumps into you, grab a foul. Unethical?
No, completely different.
Why?
It's completely different because, one, I think that's more a part of the game. The defender is coming out of control. You know he's coming out of control. You take the bump. You try to get
Same thing with a football player coming charging at you. He's out of control.
No, here's why it's different. Because the rules aren't changed based off of your position like they are in the NFL. The rules are put in place, and they're over the top to protect the quarterback. And when you try to unethically and bush league it to take advantage of those protections, I think it's unacceptable.
I think you're absolutely out of your mind. Let's take a break. 610-632-0975. We'll go over these worries. It's Purge the Worries Day, but it's also the other side of it. If you want to throw an Eagles cheer our way and you want to show us the passion, we'll do that as well. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show live at Rally House in Willow Grove. You're in the neighborhood. Stop by, say hey.
Fanatic Sports Update.
One win from the Super Bowl. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. For the 8th time this century, the Eagles are on the doorstep of playing in the Super Bowl. The Birds host the Commanders this Sunday at 3 o'clock in the NFC Championship game. There's still questions about the availability of center Cam Jurgens and tight end Dallas Goedert after the two have been DNPs on both Wednesday and Thursday's injury reports. Both Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Hurts were full participants in Thursday's practice after being limited Wednesday and after being banged up against the Rams last weekend. Lane Johnson was asked about how his quarterback looked in his participation in practice.
He looked good. I was out there today firing around, so we had a good practice. We went to the link, so it was good. He was mobile, he was moving, and
I need him to be mobile on Sunday in the NFC Championship game, and we'll have the Westwood One broadcast of that game at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere, the Flyers lost 6-1 to the Rangers and returned action tonight against the Islanders. 76ers back in action tonight against the Cavaliers at 7 o'clock. You can hear it right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Wendy's. 2 faves for just $7. Get 2 of these favorite items for just $7 at Wendy's. Choose from their spicy or classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single or 10-piece nugs. Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Terms apply. I'm Ray Dunn. Remind that live coverage of the Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Not only can you listen to The Fanatic, but you can also
Philly House in Willow Grove, they got so much Eagle stuff and Sixer stuff. Well, the Sixer stuff's in the back, but they've got Philly stuff, getting ready for Philly season, and people are ripping me on the YouTube chat.
Yeah, Squirrel.
I'm not wearing a hat. I got well, it's got a logo on the side, but I kind of like the non-logo.
Well, Squirrely Fries just said he called this store. He spoke to the woman on the phone. She was very nice, but they would not let him buy you a hat over the phone. He was trying to buy you a hat over the phone. So we appreciate the effort.
Would it be possible for them to lend me a hat? Oh, we got one here? Okay, here we go.
All right, Mike putting on an Eagles hat. Look at this. Here we go. Oh, that looks good, dude.
No, it's a little big. But
it's a nice hat.
Yeah, this is good. I got this one. Yeah, now they're all coming out of war. There you go. There.
Eagles hat today.
Yeah,
Sirianni love on Monday. What's happening to Mike Missanelli?
Why did I do this, though? Look. You see?
What, beige and beige?
Yeah.
Yeah, you match.
People can't see my pants, so like I usually try to balance it. So I had the khaki look, and I had the khaki hat. I wasn't thinking of the Eagles hat, although I do have one.
Check you out on YouTube. Look how good that looks.
Yeah, that looks good.
Looks really good.
Yeah. So there we go. We're all good?
We are all good now.
Okay. That sounds good. By the way, another irony of Sunday, the great Josh Harris in the building as the owner of the Washington Commanders, which to me is a little like the concept of Nero fiddles while Rome burns. Here you don't even know that saying, but
I know what you mean by
it. Nero was fiddling when Rome was burning up, and it's like the band was playing on the Titanic as it was singing. Like it bugs me to no end.
Yeah, the only reason
this guy is being interviewed, and he got a big story in the Athletic today, talking about how wonderful he's built the Washington Commanders, and meanwhile the Sixers are Rome burning.
Well, the only reason I wouldn't compare the Sixers to Rome is because Rome actually had an empire. What have the Sixers done under Josh Harris?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It seems to me that you lay low. If you have any, this is a very awkward situation for Sixer fans. And here he is parading his little football team around the world. And he's proud as punch, and all that. It bugs me. Does it not bug you?
It bugged me that he simply bought the Washington Commanders. So the fact that now we're here and it's an NFC championship game and he's the owner of the Washington Commanders and they're getting big write-ups about how great of a job he's doing and all that. And then he says, I think it's going to be hard. Philly fans are passionate about their team.
Yeah. And he goes on to say the following, because he was asked that David Aldridge did the story. I've known David for a lot of years from our newspaper days, and he's back doing newspaper stuff. He says about the Sixers, we're disappointed. We're all disappointed with where we are with the Sixers. Both these teams have true meaning to me. Obviously, I grew up in Washington. I walked down East Capitol Street to attend games, but my mom grew up right near Temple University in a row house. My grandfather was a U.S. postal worker there. We got to get a fact checked on that, by the way. And I used to visit them. And when I went to Penn, I saw the Sixers win an NBA title. And I saw the ticker tape parade, and that stayed with me. And that team, through Barkley, Iverson, and I was there for the Sixers-Lakers in the 2001 finals. I was there for all of that. It's exactly the same for me. Washington football and Philly basketball. How about that?
It's hard. It's Josh Harris. I mean, we're the Sixers flagship, but it's hard right now. I don't like anything about it. Now, I will thank him for something. I don't know if you saw the other article in the Inquirer where you remember Cooper DeJean, who's a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year. The Eagles traded up to get him in the second round, and the team they traded with was the Washington Commanders. And there's an article on the Inquirer that said that Josh Harris was the one who signed off on the trade, who said it was okay to trade with the Eagles to go up and get Cooper DeJean.
Of course he's going to sign off on it. What's he knows enough about football to say no? What does that mean? He signs off on it.
I don't know.
Well, he's in a film room?
He signed off on it. I don't know. I'm looking at the article now. They talked about how Adam Peters, in referring to Howie Roseman, turns to Josh Harris and said, he's a pain in the ass. And then Josh Harris responds, he's unbelievable. Talking about Howie Roseman. So I'm glad Howie Roseman makes the trade with Josh Harris to get us Cooper DeJean, and maybe he makes a big play this weekend to seal it. How nice would that be?
That's fine. Whatever. They're going to shoot to him. It's going to gall the living daylights out of me when they shoot to him in his owner's box this week.
You think they will?
Of course they will.
You think they'll do that?
The irony of it.
Now they'll do it on the TV broadcast.
The irony of it, that's special TV.
They'll do it on the TV broadcast. They're not going to do it in the stadium, though.
They might.
Oh, he'll get booed.
They might. Well, doesn't that TV feed go up on the stadium?
I just don't know. Like, would Jeffrey Lurie sign off on that saying, hey, listen, I want the owner from across the street to get booed by Philadelphia? I mean, it would be ugly. If they showed him, it would be ugly. Don't you think it would be terrible? I mean, there would be 70,000 people.
Can Jeffrey Lurie overrule a TV production?
Yeah, but it's not the TV feed on the big screen, I don't think.
Shoot the TV feed up there.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, maybe they won't isolate him with the stadium camera, but somebody's going to see it.
See, they can't show him. They can't. It just rubs me the wrong way, man.
All right, let's take a break. Greg, Coach Al. Coach Al is calling in. This is not the same Coach Al that we used to call and say, "Here you go, Super Bowl."
I think it's Al Golden. Is what
I think Coach Al. That Coach Al passed away, unfortunately.
Oh, did he?
I think he did. Mike Missanelli, 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky.
Text on the text board. We always love our text at 610-632-0975. Let's go back to Ray Dunn. He's back in the studio. There are texts about having no concern. So my worries that I threw out there at the top so far not resonating with the people, and I meant to just put those out there so we can put them in a big trash can and light it up like they do at Ninth Street Market. But no worries so far. The text having no concerns. What's that say?
Peter from Reading saying, I have not a worry at all. Play the over, play the spread. Eagles are simply a better football team that will prevail. That simple.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel. That's why I just had to throw the worries out there with people holding back a little bit on certain elements, and I get that. I think they're ready to play a big game here. I really do. I just can't see where the Commanders can carry on this kind of a rally.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the focus when we talk about the injuries and stuff is Cam Jurgens, Jalen Hurts, but when you look at the defensive side of the football for this Eagles team, for whatever reason, I think there hasn't been enough talk about how good the Eagles' defense is. Like, maybe the Commanders can slow down the rushing attack a little. I don't see it happening. But do we really think that this Eagles defense that was #1 in the NFL is going to come in here and at home against the rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, as good as he is, and let the Commanders go crazy scoring a ton of points? I just don't see it happening. I know people keep going back to what happened in the fourth quarter in that Week 16 matchup. But if you remember correctly, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was thrown out of that game. And Chauncey's the guy on the back end who calls a lot of the signals. I just think that was such a fluke performance. And you know what else was fluky, Mike? Fangio was blitzing like crazy in that game. I don't expect him to do that because Jaden Daniels has proven he can beat the blitz. I'm just expecting a big game from the defense.
Yeah, and here, stats don't lie, right? Like ball don't lie. Commanders allowed 4.9 yards per carry to running backs. That was tied for 30th in the league this year. Last week, Gibbs hit him for 7.5 per run.
Yeah, Gibbs put up over 200.
Yeah, so like the one thing the Eagles do best, the Redskins are worse at. So again, when we're looking at this game, if you're going to tell me that they're a team of destiny is going to overrule the facts of this game, I don't buy it.
Now, The Athletic wrote an article today where they talked to a bunch of NFL executives and coaches, and this was one of the quotes in the article. And this is coming from an NFL executive. I don't think Jalen can beat them throwing the ball. But if Barkley and Hurts are both in the running game, they're really, really hard to beat. But if Washington can stop Barkley, they have a chance. Well, has anyone been able to stop Barkley? I mean, that's the Captain Obvious here. Of course, if they could stop Barkley, but no one's been able to stop him. But again, you even hear an executive saying Jalen can't beat him with his arm.
Yeah, again, it's an old, tired narrative because, A, you're right, they can't stop Barkley. B, even if they do, he's capable of that slant to A.J. Brown, and they need to go back to that. Kellen, please, you're killing me. All right, let's go to the phones for the first time today, and we'll talk to Greg in Bethlehem. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Greg?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Pardon my voice. Earlier in the week, I was snow blowing and did a face plant into my snowblower, and my lips look like I've had aesthetic surgery. But
you got to keep them, man. It's a good look for you, I think.
Hey, Greg, did you fall at your house or somebody else's house?
You get all those middle-aged women winking at you with those lips, brother.
No, I was here. I've never had that situation, but I fell and I couldn't catch myself. And next thing I know, I banged myself on the handle of my snowblower. But anyway, Joe Witt's bulletin board material, I'm looking at it from two different perspectives. One is, on face value, it looks like he's putting out an open season on Jalen Hurts. And the other perspective, I guess, is that he's trying to bait the Eagles into some bad hits for bad penalties. But either way, it seems to me that he's putting a target on the back of his own quarterback.
That's a good point. Listen, these two teams don't like each other. They've had scraps in the past. And if there's a cheap shot on the quarterback, you know that the Eagles are going to rise up. So, to me, it's a brilliant strategy by him. It really is, because it can't hurt his team. It can only jack up his defense. It might get him out of position every now and then. But also it puts the Eagles on the maybe we won't call as many running plays. So it works for him. I don't have any problem with him saying it.
Well, if you look at the trade-off, though, on one hand, you're looking at a 15-yard penalty. On the other hand, you're looking at the quarterback being out for the game. So
yeah, but Jane Daniels has managed to avoid that kind of stuff. He's pretty spry. Like he doesn't get hit a lot.
Well, they could. I mean, Jalen Carter, following a play, jumping on the guy after he's down. What does it get him? 15 yards in personal.
Yeah.
Personal foul, and his quarterback's out of the game. So I think there's not really good equity there.
Yeah, well, there's no guarantee, Greg, that he's going to be out of the game. And if he gets to 15 yards, maybe that hurts the Eagles. So I don't think you want to play games like that, right?
Well, you'd have to pick your spots, but if you're deep in their territory, and you're not really necessarily extending a long drive.
Yeah. Well, listen, if it works, first of all, this thing is not working. There we go. If I hit that 5 times to get off. If it works to your advantage, then yeah, obviously you're going to hurt Jane Daniels. But I don't think they're going to take an intentional cheap shot, even though you want them to, Bill.
Well, no, I don't want the Eagles to. I think that may be something the Commanders try to do is they say, hey, let's take a 15-yarder, hit Jalen if he's going to run the ball. But,
yeah.
I mean, you said you don't see any negative to Joe Witt, the D.C.
No, I don't. I think it's great. I would do the same thing.
I think it was terrible. Look,
really?
I think if I'm the defensive coordinator, those are conversations you have with your team behind closed doors. What benefit do the Commanders have from going public that they're going to try to hit Jalen Hurts? All you've done is you've put the referees on notice. You've put the Eagles on notice of it. Do you really think that that's going to change the way the Eagles call the game? That Sirianni and Kellen Moore, they're going to try to hit Jalen, so we shouldn't run him. No.
I think it pumps up your defense, much like Buddy Ryan used to do.
By saying it publicly?
Mm-hmm. Buddy used to say it all the time. And his guys, responded, tenfold. The body bag game was against the Redskins, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
but
that's your third. The House of Pain.
That's your third.
Was in Houston.
That's your third time calling them not the Commanders. By the way, I'm counting.
Yeah, well, back then they weren't the Commanders.
I know, but you keep slipping to that.
No, that wasn't a slip.
Oh, because they weren't the Commanders.
Yeah, they weren't the Commander. I said then Redskins.
Well, and you're going all the way back to the 90s. This is 2024. Actually, 2025 now. I don't see the benefit to publicly putting out there that you're going to try to take a shot at the opposing quarterback with how much the NFL goes out of their way to protect.
You're the underdog. I would use any method possible to jack my squad up.
Especially after last time they played. The Eagles weren't happy that Frankie Louvu didn't get a penalty for knocking Jalen Hurts out of that game with a headshot. And now you come out again and say publicly, we're going to hit him again. I don't know, man. I don't love it.
All right. Let's go to Coach Al. Coach Al, what's going on, man? Hold on a second. This is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Go ahead, Coach Al.
From the blessed borough of heaven, Coach Al, Eagles, Super Bowl!
Coach Al imitator. From the borough of heaven. Oh, man.
Bourne, 27 tackles, Jalen Carter, 5 suplex sacks, Josh Sweat, 2 sweaty sacks, and Saquon about 350 all the way to an undefeated Eagles Super Bowl!
That's pretty good, Coach Al, Coach Al. That's not bad. That's exactly how he used to sound. The Eagles are going to make gains 800 yards on the ground. Oh, he just wanted to give a little Coach Al imitation.
That was still pretty good.
By the way, I'm getting texted about Nero. Yeah, it's now that saying is now used when someone doesn't take action to stop something important that's happening. So that's what they always use. However, there are many holes in the theory, Bill. A little history lesson.
Yeah, please give me a history lesson.
Emperor Nero was the emperor of Rome. It's a myth. He didn't play the fiddle because the fiddle was not invented until the 11th century.
Oh.
That's A. B, Nero wasn't even in Rome at the time. He was at his villa, which was 35 miles away from Rome.
You say you get it all here.
Third, Nero took action. He rushed back to Rome after hearing about the fire, and he opened his gardens to shelter the homeless. And he also reduce the price of corn to help the poor. And also, to boot, he then blamed the Christians for the fire and had many executed. And he rebuilt on the ruins of Rome. So Nero all these years has gotten a bad rap.
So I'm glad that you've straightened that out because I know our listeners were upset.
The Nero family that's listening, I just want to throw you a bone out there. Your great grandfather got a bad rap.
I could potentially be related to Nero. I have family that
is that right?
Came from Rome. Yeah.
You don't look like an emperor.
You don't think?
Nah. Couldn't pull off the emperor look.
I think I could pull it
610
off. Or maybe a gladiator.
632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
One win from the Super Bowl. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bowe and Tyrone at 97.5, the Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Wicked Wolf on Chestnut Street in Center City Sunday at 2:30, presented by Corona, and enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. For the 8th time this century, the Eagles on the doorstep of playing in the Super Bowl. The Birds host the Commanders at 3 o'clock on Sunday in the NFC Championship game. There's still questions about the availability of center Cam Jurgens, tight end Dallas Goedert, after the two have been DNPs on both the Wednesday and Thursday injury reports. Both Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Hurts were full participants on Thursday after being limited on Wednesday and after, of course, being banged up in that game over the weekend against the Rams. Lane Johnson was asked about how his quarterback looked in practice.
He looked good. I was out there today firing around, so we had a good practice. We went to the link, so it was good. He was mobile, he was moving, and yeah.
We'll have the Westwood One broadcast of the NFC Championship game at 2 o'clock on Sunday right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere, the Flyers lost 6-1 to the Rangers, returned to action tonight against the Islanders. 76ers back in action tonight against the Cavaliers at 7. You can hear the game right here on The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first, so what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Ray Dunn. Remind that live coverage of the Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Inside the Fanatic Live at Rally House in Willow Grove today for a Football Friday as we head into the weekend. It's torture getting through the days of the week when you have a big game like this, because it's like we've analyzed every little pebble of this particular game.
You know what else is a little bit bittersweet, Mike? We only have 2 more Sundays of NFL football this year. I mean, it's exciting. The Eagles are in it. They're in the NFC Championship, but then it's done, man. We got next Sunday, there's nothing, and then you get the Super Bowl, and then we got a long offseason.
You get the NBA playoffs that are coming your way.
You're joking, right? Maybe NHL playoffs, although the Flyers lost last night to the Rangers.
They got buried by the Rangers.
It was all right. They had gone 6 straight with points, so I'll take it.
Oh, look at you, man.
Yeah.
6-1 drubbing, and you just slough it off.
It's all right.
Like most Flyer fans.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, so did we have some NBA news here? Were there rumors
that
are surfacing?
Well, it was interesting because right when you compare Josh Harris to Nero playing the fiddle while Rome burned, talking about him being with the Commanders while the Sixers burned, Bill Simmons went on his podcast, and he said something very interesting. He said there has been some buzz that Bob Myers could potentially replace Daryl Morey in the Sixers front office. Now, remember, Bob Myers did help the Commanders as a consultant when Josh Harris bought the team, so there's the connection there. It'd be interesting, is Daryl Morey going to walk away after this disaster of an offseason?
Let me ask you a question about Bob Myers. Is he a little overrated?
I don't know. I mean, I got to be honest. I'm not a Bob Myers expert.
He's a basketball guy, and they bring him in as a consultant for the Commanders. For what reason exactly?
Well, what was he? He was executive of the year with Golden State, right? A couple times, I think.
Yeah, he was the executive of the year with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson.
But don't most of these – I mean, look, Howie Roseman, different type of executive. He's done it with different quarterbacks, different coaches. But don't a lot of these guys just live off of a reputation of doing it one time with some good players? Look, Daryl Morey, it's just James Harden. That's his claim to fame.
Now he's on TV. Would he be an improvement? I listen, basketball's his thing. I guess he would be an improvement because I look at what Daryl Morey's done, and I got to be honest with you. I like the guy, but he has not been successful. I'm sorry. Like the whole regime, they've got like 4 guys in that front office. They none of them have been able to get something right.
Here's the problem, though. Whether they bring in Bob Myers, whether they bring in anybody, aren't they a little bit handcuffed the next few years? I mean, with the Paul George contract, with the Joel Embiid contract, now Tyrese Maxey. I mean, you pretty much have your big 3.
Be creative and move guys for less just to get it off your payroll. This is a complete, in my view, it's now gotten to a rebuild stage. I've never thought I'd say that, but we've seen the best of what Joel Embiid era is going to be. We've seen the best. I'm sorry. It's like if you want to con yourself, then fine. But we've seen the best of it.
So you're ready to declare Joel Embiid will never win a title.
There's no way that he can regain the Embiid form that we've seen in previous times. You don't get younger. You don't get healthier. All right, let's take a break. By the way, you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show right here on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, and we're broadcasting live today from Rally House in Willow Grove. Let's go right to the phones to start the 11 o'clock hour and talk to James in Old City. What's up, James?
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Yo, I didn't want to talk about this, but, I honestly said when they lost to Boston at Game 7, that was it with Embiid. And I like the guy, but it was one of them things where it's like everyone just assumed the process was going to – it wasn't a matter of, like, when it was going to – I mean, if it was going to work, it was like when. But that's not a guarantee. It wasn't guaranteed to work. It didn't work, so whatever. It is what it is.
It didn't work because it was, I think, mismanaged in a lot of ways. And coming into this year, there was false hope for what this could have been.
I don't waste my time on them. I got talked to you for an hour with the Sixers, but with the Eagles, I don't think it's great because I love the fact that you're saying like it's a good thing for these guys to be talking or whatever, pump their team up.
Yep.
To me, that's almost like a sign of weakness to me because you got the number 30 defense in the league, so obviously your defense is trash, and you got to come up with this false bravado like, we're going to hit him like a running back. No kidding. It's football. We know you're going to hit him. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, it's so the fact that you need to say that is an embarrassment to me. And it's also
I disagree because you're already an underdog and you got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
so why not pump in any kind of false bravado in there? It can't hurt.
Because it's obviously false. Their defense is 30th in the league.
Well, against the run they are.
Well, they're still pretty bad. But, Mike.
The cornerbacks are good. Both of those corners are pretty good.
Well,
so if you can stop the run, and you can
they can't stop the run. Well, my thing is that the Eagles are number one defense in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got the youngest defense in the league. Have they said a peep? That's what I like about this. We're the one.
They don't have to say a peep because they're number one.
A lion doesn't have to tell you they're lying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my whole point.
The Commanders have to create some kind of a false narrative that I think it's brilliant. I really do.
No, but to me, I disagree, Mike. I don't think it's brilliant or not. I think to me it's a total litmus test.
Well, then it helps you when you look at this game. You go, it's going to hurt the Commanders. All right, well,
that's how I look at it. It's not even help or hurt. It's more like it's a total tell. The fact that you're saying that and the Eagles over here like no comment.
But it's already a tell. They're 6.5-point underdogs.
Well,
that's
fine.
the tell that's out there. They're inferior. So anything you say can't hurt you.
I honestly feel like even the players on their own team know that, too. I feel like back in the day, as much as I didn't like Andy Reid, I trust me, don't get me started on that. It's when he was here,
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you one question. You remember the Buddy Ryan defenses, James?
Do I? Of course I do.
Yeah, okay. So that bravado that he always put out there, that he was going to kill team, his defense.
Yeah, but Mike, they were the number one defense in the league, so I have no problem with that.
Okay, but players look at that and they go, I want to destroy something.
Yeah, but your team's not good, though. That's my whole point.
Well, you can't acknowledge that you're not good. You can't acknowledge that you're not good. It's like you're looking at it from the Eagle standpoint, an Eagle fan standpoint. I'm looking at it like a Commander player. The Commander player's going, I like the fact that he's talking bravado.
I am looking at it from a very objective perspective. What you're referring to with Buddy Ryan, the rules were not in place to protect the quarterback back then. So when Buddy Ryan comes out publicly and makes those declarations about how they're going to hit the quarterback, that was fine back then. Okay. You aren't going to get flags. There's going to be flags thrown on this team.
You also made the same point that that you would take a 15-yard penalty, that Jalen Carter would bust somebody up. Isn't that the same principle? If you can bust up Jalen Hurts, does that not work for your defense?
No, I wouldn't do it if I was the Eagles. I meant if I'm the Commanders behind closed doors, I would be telling my defense, you get one 15-yarder, take a shot at Jalen. But to come out publicly and put the referees on notice of it doesn't make sense to me. Why would you do that? What benefit does it have to publicly let everybody know we're going to go after Jalen Hurts?
What did he really say? He said if he's a running back, we're going to treat him like a running back. We're going to hit him hard like we would hit a running back. What did he say? They were going to take a cheap shot? They were going to try to go low at his knees? He didn't say any of that.
It was implied. It was implied.
What was implied?
It was implied that they're going to try to hit him. And here's the deal. Yeah, granted, when he leaves the pocket, you can hit him like a running back until he attempts to slide. When he slides, he gets the protection that quarterbacks get.
But don't you think his players are smart enough to figure that part of it out? Like they know they're going to get a flag, that they can't go overboard because it's only going to hurt their team. He's just sending a message. Hey, that guy can really hurt us if we let him run. So let's make sure he feels it when he runs.
I just don't see the benefit.
All right, let's go to the text board. We're going to get some text on Joe Witt Jr., the defensive coordinator. Ray, what do you got?
Commanders defensive coordinator put a target on his own quarterback. I think this makes it more personal for the Eagles. If you listen to some of the Eagles, they look, this is a payback game, which makes it a physical game, a war-like game. Beat them the hell up and win. It takes everything to make that happen. And let's focus more on kicking their ass, less about it being the game that gets them to the Super Bowl. They may use every motivation that they need, even Sirianni not being on the list for Coach of the Year. That's how football players think. Terrence from Wilmington.
All right, well, that's a pretty good tweet. Here's the thing. Jaden Daniels really doesn't get hit like Jalen Hurts does. Jalen Hurts, he tries to get out of the way, but he's a strong guy, and he takes more of a hit than Jaden. Jaden Daniels gets out of bounds all the time.
Oh, he's a lot thinner than Jalen Hurts. But if you remember correctly, you go all the way back to the first game that the Eagles played against the Commanders, Jaden Daniels had some banged-up ribs. Now, I don't remember if he sustained that on a scramble or if it was a sack inside the pocket, but he was a little bit banged up. I mean, they can get after him. If Jalen Carter gets a shot on Jaden Daniels, he's going to feel it. Jaden Daniels needs to put on a few pounds. He's still a young guy. He's a very thin guy. I don't know, we'll see how it all plays out, man. Did you see who, though, talking about quarterbacks? Did you see who the honorary captain is on Sunday for the Birds?
Oh, my God.
Let's make some noise. Come on.
More of him? But we don't, I always said, we don't have enough of Nick Foles.
Yeah, he's going to get the crowd fired up.
He's been really, in the shadows these last few
Let's make some
weeks.
noise. Come on.
No, it's exactly what the fan base wants. A backup quarterback riling up the fans.
Yeah, I got to ask you a question about A.J. Brown in that book on the other side. And also, we're gonna introduce this guy who does these videos as a spoof talk show caller, who apparently used to be an intern at 97.5 The Fanatic.
Yeah, I love this article.
All right, so 610-632-0975 is how you climb into the show. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
I mean, it's only 11 o'clock, a little after 11 o'clock, and there's been a steady stream of customers coming in buying this Eagles gear.
Let me ask you a question about, I see there's a hoodie there that has the Barkley 26 on it. Would you go with that, or would you, if you're going to do that, you need to get the jersey instead? Would you go? Would the hoodie work?
I'm not a huge jersey guy.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Let me see. Turn it around, Brent.
I
like that.
Yeah, it's got an eagle on the front, the eagle logo on the front, and Barkley 26 on the back, and it's a hoodie.
Yeah, I think I would probably see. You're going to get more wear out of the hoodie probably than you would the jersey.
Yeah,
don't you think?
Yeah, but see, I don't know. It's a clash of cultures there. I think that I would go with the eagle logo on the front without the Barkley 26 on the back, but I would go with the Barkley jersey because that's more authentic.
I got you. But, I mean, they have every option under the sun is talking about hoodies and everything else over there. I'm going to have to buy something today, I think.
Yeah?
Maybe I'll get something for the little one. Maybe I'll get a little
there you go.
Newborn thing.
Yep. So you got some Philly stuff here, too. So I'm going to ask you this one. You see this one in the corner here? Would you wear the powder blue hoodie that says Schwarbs on it?
No. No. See, I may be a little bit different. I'm not a jersey guy, so I'm not going to wear anything that has a player's name on it. I'm going to go with the logo only. Unless it's like a throwback. I would wear a Lindros shirt.
You didn't answer why you wouldn't wear Schwarbs.
I don't know. I just wouldn't. I don't know. It's not my thing.
It's not you?
Well, I wouldn't get any shirt that says anything.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
How about a little Kid Iverson jersey?
My wife would actually love that. She's a big Iverson fan.
All right. How about let's go down the line here. Halliday.
I'm not a jersey guy, so I would say no to all of them.
Pretend you are.
But if I was a jersey guy, that one's interesting. What is that? That's a different colored blue.
Yeah, it's a yeah.
What is that?
More of a royal blue.
Did they ever wear that jersey?
I don't think so.
It's an all-star
Special
jersey?
edition.
I don't know what that is. The Dykstra one next to it.
Would you wear Dykstra?
No, I don't think anybody would. Is anyone rocking the Dykstra jersey?
I don't
these
know.
days?
They got him up there. The inventory. They must have some kind of calling for him.
That may have been there for a while.
All right. Let me ask you one other question regarding A.J. Brown. The narrative of the book Inner Excellence has been going on for several weeks now. People really got a kick out of it. They milked the story. It turns out, I read a story today, that the book Inner Excellence was actually given to A.J. Brown by Moro Ajomo. Now, he's the one who discovered the book.
He did say that right after the game when he was asked.
He did?
He said Morrow gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
I thought he meant Nick Morrow, who was on the team last year, who got brought back to the practice squad. I thought he was referring to Nick Morrow.
I didn't know he had said Morrow gave it to me.
He did, but it didn't get a lot of publicity.
It didn't get a lot of pub, so that's why I wanted to ask you. Is that a violation on AJ's part to not introduce the narrative that he really didn't discover the book? It's like when we do, we'll reread a story in a newspaper, right? And when it's a good line, and we create the line, and we don't mention the author. Yeah, it's like you're trying to gain a little bit of cred, steal a little bit of cred.
But he did give him. He did say Morrow.
Okay, he said Morrow.
Morrow gave it to me.
I didn't even know that part of it.
Yeah.
So okay,
well,
that's
Morrow,
good enough. Morrow gave it to me.
I think so. And Morrow's story is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
he was born in Nigeria.
Yep.
He enrolls at Texas when he's only 16 years old. I mean, it's a pretty cool story. And he's been making some plays, Moro Ajomo.
He has.
But I don't know. I think he tried to give him credit for it. But, of course, nobody's interviewing Moro Ajomo. They're interviewing AJ all the time.
All right, let me introduce the story here of a guy named Gabe Mahalik. Now, you've seen these videos on Instagram.
Yeah, they're
where
pretty
he's
good,
like a faux caller to a sports talk, and he embellishes it.
And not that much embellished. Some of them are pretty realistic.
It's realistic, but he's doing a character.
Yeah.
So he apparently was an intern. Now he is. This is interesting because his story is pretty interesting. He was an addict. He's recovering. He now ministers youth, and he's a Delaware County native. He's a born-again Christian and a youth pastor at Brandywine Grace Church in Downingtown. He's a father of three. A part-time DJ, part-time stand-up comic. And a recovering addict has been sober since 2013. So he's created this call-in character. Apparently, he was an intern at 97.5 The Fanatic, and he was my intern. Now, I vaguely remember a guy named Gabe, but in the story, he says that one of his badge of honors is that I called him an idiot to his face. So, I don't remember. That could be like 100 people, but that he mentions this in the story. So for the people, do we have a little piece of this guy?
Yes.
All right. So this is this guy Gabe Mihalik's Instagram, where he refers to the talk show host as John. He used the generic John for whatever reason. And this is him replicating a typical sports talk caller.
That's a Super Bowl team you seen yesterday, John. Super Bowl teams run the ball, they hit you in the mouth, and they overcome adversity. Like when the refs are trying to rig the game. Or like when your kicker can't hit an extra point to save his life. I seen people at the 4th and John tailgate hitting more extra points than Missy Elliott did yesterday, John. It's a disgrace. You got to overcome the adversity. Like when your star receiver, who couldn't catch a door at Wawa, is looking like Nelson Aguilar out there. You still got the book, AJ? They got a chapter in there called How to Catch the Ball? It's a disgrace. How about some outer excellence next week, bud? You got 2 receptions for 24 yards in 2 weeks. I'll tell you what, Saquon's the hope of this city, and he's taking us to the promised land.
All right, there you go. Now, this guy, he had a character like when he's talking about Saquon Barkley sitting out, and it was viewed more than 840,000 times.
What, his video?
His video on the Saquon Barkley sitting out. So apparently he was upset about that. But he's done more than like 40 videos. And interestingly enough, he has been approached to endorse products. And he was endorsed he was called to endorse an alcoholic vodka seltzer. And because, I got to give this guy credit. I'm sorry calling you an idiot. He said, it's a bad look for a guy who leads 60 to 70 teenagers who look up to me as a role model to be plugging vodka seltzers.
Wow.
How about that?
I'm liking this kid more and more.
Yeah, now let me ask you, would you have plugged a vodka seltzer?
Well, I'm not.
It's a no-brainer for you.
Molding young minds like he is.
You're molding a young daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I'm in a different category.
Let me ask you this. Would you do an advertisement for a strip club?
Probably not. You know, I probably wouldn't push that. But, I mean, hey, to each his own. To each his own. I'll tell you what I would love to do.
I love putting you on the spot.
I would love to do an ad for maybe hair restoration with this bald spot on the top of my head. But, hey, I don't know who's out there.
You know, they'd have to, like, surgically implant hairs in your scalp for that.
Yeah, I don't think I would do it, to be honest with you. I don't know. Maybe I would. Our old friend Johnny Marks did it. He's got a nice, luscious head of hair now.
Did you just give away his secret?
No,
that's a total violation.
John gives it away.
Oh, he does?
He's a spokesperson.
Okay.
Yeah, he gives it away.
You were talking out of school there.
No.
He's trying to pull it off.
No. But
all right, 610-632-0975. Ray Dunn says he's available for all advertisers.
Raymond.Dunn at bbgi.com.
You know, he's going to endorse 25-ounce IPAs.
Well, when Ray shows up to the strip club, they say, "Welcome back, Ray."
Exactly. He already blew one thing because he's drinking from a Blue Moon glass. It wasn't even a Blue Moon.
I've not been to one. I'll admit that.
You got to get it straight. All right, Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
One win from going to the Super Bowl. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. For the 8th time this century, the Eagles are on the doorstep of playing in the Super Bowl. The Birds host the Commanders at 3 o'clock on Sunday in the NFC Championship game. There's still questions about the availability of center Cam Jurgens and tight end Dallas Goedert after 2 have been DNPs on both the Wednesday and Thursday injury reports. Both Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Hurts were full participants in Thursday's practice after being limited Wednesday following getting banged up against the Rams over the weekend. Lane Johnson was asked about how his quarterback looked in practice.
He looked good. I was out there today firing around, so we had a good practice. We went to the link, so it was good. He was mobile, he was moving, and
We'll have the Westwood One broadcast of the NFC Championship game at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic on Sunday. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, Flyers lost 6-1 to the Rangers last night, returned to action tonight against the Islanders. 76ers back in action against the Cavs tonight at 7. You can hear it right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by ExpressPros.com. Make hiring easier with the workforce experts. Lets people at Express Employment Professionals find you the right fit. Hiring is about people, not algorithms. Visit ExpressPros.com. I'm Ray Dunn, reminding that live coverage of the Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
11:27. Mike Missanelli Show. When should we play this Bieber thing? What do you think, Bill?
We'll probably got to do it soon because we got News at Noon. We got Sirianni coming up. We got Tim McManus coming up today.
Right, so do we have this ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Right. Do you have it ready?
I'll tell you what. We're after the next break, so we just go a little tease that it's coming up. Now, I have no recollection of what I said.
I've never heard it. I just saw on YouTube yesterday people found it.
I don't even know how many years ago this was. Because John Marks is my producer. So I started back here in 2008. It had to be like 2010 area.
2011.
2011. All right, 2011. So we're talking 14 years ago, the Biebs.
My God.
Called in on the celebrity calling contest in the same, I think it was the same contest where Trump called in the last 5 minutes of the show to try to steal it for his person.
Who was the winner? It wasn't Trump. Didn't end up winning his person. So who won?
Trump did not win it.
Did Bieber's person win?
I don't think.
Or was it Diddy's person that won?
I think Diddy might have won it because we had. If I'm recalling this correctly, we didn't believe it was Diddy, and he said, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tweet it out right now that I'm on from my personal account that I'm on the air with you guys, and that'll verify for everybody."
Wait, when he called in, was he Diddy or was he Puff Daddy back then? How far back we going?
You know, I don't remember.
When did he change his name to Diddy?
I don't recall. I don't even know if it was the same year because we did it a couple years. But we had Anne Hathaway one year call in. She was an Oscar winner. She lost. But I think Mike Tyson won it one year. Tyson called in. I think he was the winner one year.
That's good.
That's when he was in his head. He was still Tyson.
Yeah, he was still Iron Mike.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
All right.
Hold on, I got to say, too, Mike, because I don't know if you've gotten a chance yet, but Gata's Tomato Pie dropped off a bunch of food over there. Mm-hmm. We got Strombolis, cheesesteak Strombolis, buffalo chicken Strombolis. They got their tomato pie. They're going to be open on Sunday for game day at 7 a.m. for all your tailgating needs. Tomato pies, pizza, Strombolis, right in Northeast Philly. They were voted best pizza in Philadelphia, and I can see why. So you're going to have to hit next break. You're going to have to hit that. Gata's Tomato Pie.
Yeah, Gata brought in some stuff several weeks back. Were you not there?
They did, but I don't think I partook.
Oh, I know why. Because you said I can't eat a cheesesteak. I have to have a protein shake and a Kind bar.
Yeah, but
now all of a sudden you're about the Gata food.
Well, you know what happens to me? Like when I'm not getting a lot of sleep, which I'm not with the newborn at home, my workout schedule's thrown off. Kind of like wheels are off the bus type of thing. Like, I'm not sleeping well. I'm not working out. What do I care about eating healthy? So I already hit 2 pieces of Stromboli today.
Oh, yeah. The cheesesteak Stromboli is special over there that they have. And Ray says he's had them for a game day. Look at Ray entertaining the friends. Ray catering a party at his place? Ray's, no. He's talking about, like, doing a show?
No, I've had them. When I have people over, highly recommend. People love the tomato pie, the Stromboli.
Ray
very
catering
good.
a little party for his fellas.
There's no way.
Wait, Ray, you asking them to pitch in?
Yeah, they're all chipping in money for that.
I've thrown a couple where I've done the catering.
Now you got at your age, Ray. I think it's acceptable to.
Yeah, it's acceptable, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? They're my friends. They support.
It's never acceptable to collect.
When you're 24 years old?
Now, Ray's a big star now.
Yeah.
You can't be collecting. See, Ray,
big star, no big
Ray
check.
Probably isn't making a lot of money right now, but he's a star.
Like so he just has to bite the bullet.
Exactly.
Just go into debt. Listen to Mike Missanelli.
Right,
go into complete
invite
debt.
His little neighborhood friends over.
Fake it till you make it, Ray. Fake it till you make it.
In. He's Ray Dunn, for Christ's sake.
He's Ray Dunn. Yeah, his name was on the marquee up in Collegeville.
Exactly. Come on, man. Fellas, can you chip in $5? Come on.
Don't worry. So I'll expense it. Hey, I work on the Mike Missanelli show. You could send it over to him.
Let's go to Mark in Jersey. Mark, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mark?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, congratulations on the new addition to the family, man. Enjoy these moments.
Yeah, thanks, Mark, man. It's been
fun.
They'll
go by fast. A few points here. For one, the quarterback has not played playoff football at the Link as an away team. So, that experience as a rookie, he's having a great year. Good for him. But it's not like week 8 or week 11 whenever they were at the Link and we completely demolished them. That game and that atmosphere is going to be miles different than it was during the regular season, for one. So, he's got to be prepared mentally for that. I don't think, any rookie is stable enough to overcome, the atmosphere at the Link is going to be playoff time.
No, I agree with you. Even though this kid, by all accounts, is special and he's unflappable and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. This is a really big spot for a kid to win an NFC title game with the lesser team, by the way.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I feel like the defense. I know I'm happy our team is not speaking out like how Washington is, because it just shows the confidence that we have. Obviously, we're the number one defense, as you guys were mentioning earlier. But do you guys think there's a little bit of blood on the water for the defense, especially how the last game ended in Washington with Hurts getting knocked out of the game and all that? I mean, obviously, they got a running quarterback as well, and then they're going to do the same thing, as Washington claims they're going to do, is hit him like a running back. But do you think there might be a little extra incentive on the defensive side for the Eagles? Not to say payback, but there's a little bit of blood in the water, man. That probably left a dirty taste in their mouths of how that hit went down. There was no penalty on the play or anything like that. So I feel like our defense has a little bit more extra motivation that they're not speaking about that will help set the tone early. And I just pray defense gets the ball first and sets that tone early for these guys, because I don't see any chance Washington winning this game at all.
I totally agree with you. What do you think, Bill? The extra incentive for the defense in this game?
I don't think the extra incentive's there because of the hit that they put on Jalen Hurts. I think the extra incentive's there because of the way the last game ended, giving up 22 points in the fourth quarter, letting Jaden Daniels throw 3 touchdowns in that fourth quarter. We've never seen the defense really fall apart like that, and they did it then. I think there were a lot of factors for it. We mentioned Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. We know Jordan Davis was in and out of the game. Slay was in and out of that game. I think that's where the motivation comes from. And let's be honest here. Professional athlete, the motivation is you win the game, you go into the Super Bowl. So I don't know if anyone needs any extra motivation, but I'm sure this defense looks back and says that's not who we are, giving up 22 points in a quarter.
I just think the Eagles are going to be much more comfortable with that crowd there. And listen, it's an easy game plan, right? You want to run the football. You want to keep the Commanders' offense on the sideline so this kid can't make magical plays. And you do that by controlling the football. You do what you've done all year, long, controlled drives.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I was reading an article. You talk about those long, controlled drives. Have you ever heard the term move plays?
No.
So the Athletic did a thing. And I mean, look, I've looked at every football stat under the sun, and I've never heard this before. Apparently, Dick Vermeil was a big fan of this. Move plays they include rushes and completions, but they eliminate sacks and pass attempts. So it's really only kind of like successful type of plays. Philadelphia Eagles rank second in the NFL with 9.2 more move plays than any other opponent, because what it does is move plays, you don't get penalized if you run hurry-up offense, because sometimes we look at time of possession, but that's not really the factor. It's how many successful plays are you running. Eagles ranked second in the league, so I think you're right. They run a lot of move plays this week, keep the ball moving down the field, and keep Jaden Daniels and that offense on the sidelines. I don't see how they can lose this football game.
I totally agree. That's why I'm not even introducing panic, even though I try to purge the worries that people may have. People don't have the worries. We don't even need a fire barrel.
Now, I do think people are confident. But, again, going back to the one worry, it's just got to be the injuries. The injuries to Jalen Hurts and Cam Jurgens. Because when we talk about establishing those move plays, establishing the rushing attack, all of those factors, it's not going to be as successful if Jalen's not 100%, and it's certainly not going to be as successful if you got to move Dickerson to center, Tyler Steen the left guard. Now, I'm not saying it won't be successful at all, but there's no way it can be as successful as it's been with a backup left guard, a backup center who hasn't played it since college, and a quarterback who's not 100%. So we have to hope that that's not an issue this Sunday.
All right. On the other side, in my interview 14 years ago with Justin Bieber, who called into the show. I have no idea what I asked him. I have no idea whether I'm going to come off like a douche. I just don't have any clue on what this is about.
Well, if I got to put odds on that part of it, I'm going minus 250.
All right, so tell your friends and neighbors to tune in right now, because you're going to hear the Biebs right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Mike Missanelli Show live at Rally House. All right, so I don't even know how this came up, but the concept of the celebrity calling contest, and we're doing this on Football Friday, so I apologize. Alfie from Abington, who's been a long-time caller of mine, he stopped in to say hello. He's been hanging. And he had the whole lowdown on these. Well, I did 3 of them in a period of maybe 6 years.
And got some pretty big guests.
And he said the winners were, in this order, Tyson, Diddy, Paula Abdul. Now, I said to Diddy, I said to Alfie, I go, I recall Paula flirting with me. He goes, yes, she did. She did. Hey, you were a gentleman.
You were a gentleman.
So I could have taken a shot.
What's Paula Abdul's biggest hit? Wait, straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love me forever?
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty good. So in any event.
Wait, but she took a shot and you didn't take the bait?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think I would have gone out on a date with Paula Abdul.
It was a muff punt.
I would have certainly at least gone out on a date with her.
I don't know whether I had a girlfriend at the time or not. But in any event, Bieber, for some reason, didn't win. And now I recall. See, we got to get John Marks to call in.
You want me to get him?
Yeah, tell him to call in because he was the producer. There was a technicality on why Bieber didn't win that I can't remember what it was. Because he should have won.
I'm trying to get
I think it was because they had a list of celebrities that could call in. And he wasn't on it because we didn't expect it. And so as a technicality, he couldn't win. It was something like that. Well, Marks will probably know. But in any event, the Biebs called in, stunning all of us. It's Justin Bieber on the line. I get the producer guy, Justin Bieber. I go, come on, that can't be real. I think it's real. So we get him on the air, and sure enough, it's the Biebs, and here's how it went.
Are you kidding me?
This is legitimate, Mike.
This is legitimate?
And I don't think he's on the bucket list. But he crossed up Steve Nash last week in a basketball game. And our program director loves him.
Well, so what? I mean, I don't know how to handle this because this is like out of control big. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the line right now, we have the man who might be one of the 3 most popular people in the world today. The ladies love him. The youngsters love him. Justin Bieber joins us. Justin, is this really you?
It is really me.
Now, Justin,
I know my name's not on the list, but, I'm trying to help my man win some Philly season tickets.
Oh, man. Justin, who was your man that got you to call here?
Tom Boyd. He lives in Philly.
His name is what? Tom what?
Tom Boyd.
Tom Boyd. Now, how did you connect with Tom Boyd? Did he just tweet you?
No. He's my, I know him. He lives in Philly, so he's one of my close friends. So he hit me up. He's like, yo, I need you to call in. And I was like, yo, I'll do my best. I know my name's not on the list, but hopefully he gets him.
Wow, man, I tell you what, this is overwhelming me here. Justin, what are you doing right now? Are you touring right now? What things do you have up your sleeve?
I'm not touring right now. I'm in LA. I'm working on my Christmas album, and then once I'm done my Christmas album, we're starting to work on my next album, which drops sometime early next year.
Well, listen, good luck to you with that. I noticed that you got the hair styled a little differently. You're looking a little more professorial. What's the deal with that change?
Well, I mean, my hair, I wanted to cut it off a little bit, It was getting in my eyes, and it was pretty annoying, so I was, I wanted to cut it a little shorter.
Well, are the young ladies approving of that, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I think they like it, I've been getting positive feedback.
What's up with you and Selena, man?
Well, she's on tour right now, but, yeah.
Is this an official hookup?
I'd like to keep, some of my private life to myself. So,
well, it's already out there. A dope like me wouldn't know unless it was already out there.
I know. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but it's just like, I don't really like to talk about it. I like to,
I got you. I didn't want to keep it in kind of a private relationship. How'd you swing that, man? I mean, like we see Selena. It's tough to get that breakthrough line. How did you hook it up?
I was pretty shocked myself. She's very beautiful.
Well, how'd you make the approach? Like, wait, did somebody put you together, or did you go over to her, or what happened?
I mean, we started as friends like 2 years ago. So we've been friends for a long time. So that's kind of how. So
you want? Wait, let me get this straight. Now, you're one of these guys. You hang in there as friends until she gets to know you, and so you're around, and all of a sudden you go in for the kill. Is that what it was?
I mean that's pretty much how it went. No, I had a girlfriend actually when I was when she was my friend, so it wasn't like anything like that at first.
All right, now, what's the girlfriend doing now? Did you break her heart over this?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it's tough for the girlfriend to compete with Selena. I mean, let's face it.
I don't know.
What is she doing right now? Is she on a farm somewhere? Like, is she in the business?
I think we should be talking about sports right now. You know.
All right, that's fair enough. Are you a sports fan?
I am a sports fan.
All right, now who's your favorite team?
My favorite team, I love hockey. I'm from Canada, so I love the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know.
Well, that's a tough team to like. They haven't won in a long time, bro.
It is a tough team, but you know that I'm not joining a bandwagon, you know?
Yeah, we're talking to Justin Bieber. In case people are just tuning in, you're calling as part of our bucket list. You know, I have half a mind to add you to the bucket list because this is huge that we got you on here. Are you a Flyers hater? Being a Toronto Maple Leaf guy?
I'm not a Flyers hater. I used to be a big fan of Eric Lindros, so when he was on the team, so I'm not a hater.
All right, now you also can play little hoops, and you were in the NBA celebrity game. And who did you cross over? Who did you humiliate?
Well, I crossed over a couple people. I recently played in Luda's tournament in Atlanta, and I crossed over Chris Paul a few times. But
Steve Nash too, right?
Yeah. Well, we played against Steve Nash in New York. That was pretty fun.
And so what? They don't expect that kind of Canadian white boy crossover move?
No, they don't.
You lull them to sleep?
They don't expect it. But no, it's fun to go out there and play with these people and have a great time.
How long have you been playing basketball? Growing up in Canada, were you a hockey player?
I was a hockey player. I played hockey my whole life, traveled and all that stuff. But I played basketball just like at school and at the YMCA and stuff.
You know, listen, Justin, you're like a major talent. And so, like, I'm curious to know, like, how do you look when you see a show like American Idol? You know, you were discovered without American Idol. I mean, you were good enough to just, break out. But what do you think about the people who go through the American Idol thing?
No, I think that some of these people, they have no other way, to break themselves out, in the mainstream world. So they go on American Idol. So, I mean, I respect it. Some of the people, you end up, like, not really hearing much about them. But, like, I respect it, Kelly Clarkson did her thing on it. A lot of people were able to break free. Carrie Underwood's amazing, and so it was a good thing for him.
Well, listen, this is a pleasure. Somebody told me you have a sports themed ringtone.
I'm a man.
Yeah, is that your ringtone?
I'm a man. I'm 40. That was my ringtone for a minute. It was when I first heard that. Me and my boys were just laughing.
So what's the ringtone now, Justin?
I don't know. I think it's definitely not that anymore. I think it's just something regular.
All right, so well, listen, good luck with the career and good luck with Selena, man. It's hard to have that celebrity relationship. You got all kinds of things tugging at you, pulling at you. You got all these. How does Selena feel about all these girls like screaming for you?
She's but.
Oh no, we're lost.
Oh no,
we lost him.
We lost the beat.
Oh, well, there you go. Look.
All right, so
that was so good, man.
That was it. I gotta be honest with you. I thought I held up pretty good there.
I thought
I wasn't babbling.
I love that you were trying to push him into like learning about his love life. He's like, why aren't we talking about sports right now? He thought he was just called a sports radio station. He didn't know he was called Mikey Miss.
No, I had to go deep. All right, so there it is. That was the beefs. He sounded like a regular kid. Right?
Well, he was
regular guy back then.
I guess he was probably like 16 back then, right? Was it like 2010, 2011? Well, he was born in 94.
Early 20s.
Oh, he was early 20s. Okay.
He got Selena, 16.
That's right. He didn't have her at 16. Yeah, so he was in his 20s. But we don't know why he didn't win. We're going to find out why he didn't win.
Yes. Oh, did Marks call in?
Marks is on the line.
Oh, he is? All right, we'll take a break. And we'll come back because, that blew me away. I mean, that should have won going away.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't win.
All right, Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
One win away from going to the Super Bowl. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bo and Tyrone at 97.5 The Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Wicked Wolf on Chestnut Street in Center City Sunday at 2:30. Presented by Corona, and enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. For the 8th time this century, the Eagles are on the doorstep of playing in the Super Bowl. The Birds host the Commanders at 3 o'clock on Sunday in the NFC Championship game. There's still questions about the availability of center Cam Jurgens and tight end Dallas Goedert after the two have been DNPs on both Wednesday and Thursday's injury report. Both Quinion Mitchell and Jalen Hurts were full participants in Thursday's practice after being banged up against the Rams. Lane Johnson was asked about how his quarterback looked in practice.
He looked good. I was out there today firing around, so we had a good practice. We went to the link, so it was good. He was mobile, he was moving, and
Gonna need him to be mobile in Sunday's NFC Championship game, which we will have the Westwood One broadcast live at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic for that game. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-1 to the Rangers, return to action tonight against the Islanders. 76ers back in action tonight against the Cavs at 7. You can hear that game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Audible. If you're stuck in traffic, why not tap in your well-being with Audible audiobooks, podcasts, and originals? Hear expert insight on health, relationship, finance, and more. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com. I'm Ray Dunn, reminding that live coverage of the Eagles and Commanders of the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday at 2 right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Missanelli Show. So, was I supposed to do a spot here, right?
Beginning of that break. We'll move it. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. I blew it. I was supposed to do a spot. I blew it.
It's all right. We were excited after listening to Bieber.
All right. We heard Biebs. And my producer at the time, I believe he's out there. I think he is. Could this be him? Could this be John from Collegeville?
I don't know. Who could that be?
Checking in. Let's see. John from Collegeville. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
First time, long time, Mike. How you doing?
Of course, this is John Marks. He was my producer at that time for, I think, all three of the celebrity calling contests, right?
No, Martinez. No? When you had Trump and Diddy as the top two, imagine that. Trump and Diddy. They were the top two. Jason was doing it then, I think.
Okay, but you were definitely there for the Biebs thing because we heard you in the background. So yes. What do you recall about that? Why didn't he win?
I have no idea. I honestly, until I heard myself laughing, I don't remember that at all. That I was on the air and producing for you for that. I remember the contest, which was genius, and I remember you. And I mean, that was amazing how you're able to, you don't know who's calling in. It just happens. And all of a sudden, Justin Bieber's on the line, and you're needling him to get that Selena Gomez stuff. He was giving you nothing, and you made him say it. It was unbelievable. What a great job.
Yeah, listen, when you get caught off guard there. You don't know what to go, so you just kind of flow with what you know. And I knew about that Selena thing. But we were on remote that day, though, right?
Must have been if I had an open mic, right? Like, so otherwise, if I'm
I think we were at Chickies and Pete's in the Northeast when he called in that way. But here's what I recall, and maybe you call it. The program directors put together a checklist of celebrities. I remember being in this meeting, and they listed about 100 celebrities, and it had to be one of the celebrities that they listed. And for some reason, Bieber wasn't on it, because I guess they figured there's no way. Like, he's one of the biggest stars ever, and he didn't get on the checklist.
Yeah, actually, now that you bring it up, I think the first time we did it, they had that because they were worried that someone would call in and they wouldn't know whether he was authentic or not. As opposed to, and I think after that, we opened it up to anybody. Because why would you limit yourself to just a list of people? So, yeah, I mean, that probably was what happened because as we learned later, a fake Larry David called in. And the numbnuts that was screaming the calls put him on the air.
I would see the numbnuts had to get the call from Bieber. Like, who? Do you remember who that would have been?
Yeah, his name rhymes with Joe DeCamera.
It was the camera.
It was, and he's such an idiot. He had no idea. He literally had didn't he? He turned away somebody too. He turned away a really big name.
He did. He didn't know who Bieber was.
He had no idea who he was.
Oh, that's a classic.
Wait, you're telling me back then it was your show with John producing and Joe the camera answering phones?
John was usually the producer, but we were on remote, so he was there. So I guess they had
the phone rang directly to his office, and then he had to screen it. You had to go through the process of screening it, and then that's when it got passed off.
That's right. He did turn down somebody really big because he didn't know who he was.
Kevin Bacon. I think it was Kevin
Bacon.
Yeah, because he's got the Philly connection, right? You figure that somebody knows him locally and says, "Hey," because we were doing season tickets, if you remember, Mike. At least a couple of them.
Yeah, the Eagles season ticket.
Yeah, I mean that's how Trump called in. He had his secretary got him to call in, and you kept him on the line for 20 minutes, and he was trying to get off, and you weren't letting him do it.
I can't remember what I asked him at that point. But anyway, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. That was a golden moment. I don't even know how we got on it. But we had to replay the Bieber thing, which was classic. You were feeding me little tidbits. Still, I don't think I knew about that crossover.
No, I'm sure I was right. I was right on the Google. And
you know what? So what was your reaction? We're on remote, and you write down Justin Bieber is on.
I mean, like you think about it right now, and then he was obviously a huge pop star then. I mean, think about were we on FM at the time? I guess we were on FM at the time.
Yeah, we did.
We're some sports radio station in Philly, and Justin Bieber's on the line, and you're harassing him about Selena Gomez, right? And he's giving up information. It was classic, man. What great radio we did.
Oh, they were the fun shows to do, man. All right, listen, thanks, John from Collegeville. How are things in Collegeville? Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I was just doing a puzzle with my daughter. Now I'm going to make her a turkey and cheese Uncrustable for lunch. So
what do you do for work? You go to the airport and fly in from where you are out there?
Well, I'm in the Poconos, so I just came to Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, the state.
Oh, okay. What, are you on vacation up there?
No. I'm in.
You're saying Collegeville's like the Poconos.
It takes me less time to get to a Reading Titans game than it does to a Phillies game. So.
Well, I don't know, man. You wanted to live in the country.
I am, man. I'm a country boy.
All right, man. Thanks for checking in, Johnny.
All right, guys.
All right, there he is, John Marks, who was the producer at the time. You are listening to, let's see, well, where's my sheet here? There we go. WPEN HD1, Bill, Burlington, Philadelphia. BSD Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibility. All right, Bill, in this hour, we were asked the question, what would the matchups look like? What were the matchups? The Eagles have been, believe it or not, in 8 NFC championship games since 2000?
Well, this will be the 8th.
This will be the 8th. All right, so 7 previous. Let's look at who their matchups were in those NFC title games, whether the Eagles had the edge, because it applies now. They have a decided edge in this game.
All right, well, we got to go all the way back to 2001 was the first one in the 2000s, and that was one where they weren't favored. They were at St. Louis. And the Rams that year were the number 1 seed. They had a 14-2 record. They had the number 1 offense. You're talking about the greatest show on turf. And their defense was top 3. And the Eagles almost pulled that out, if you remember. They lost 29-24, but they almost won that game. But no one was upset after that. Like, we expected to lose that game. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
So that one wasn't as bad. Mm-hmm. Then do you really want me to talk about the next one?
The 2002? Next, yeah, well, okay. Yeah, we have to go over it. We have to purge. So in order to purge, you have to get it out there.
So 2002. Last game at the Vet, Philadelphia Eagles number 1 seed taking on the Brad Johnson-led Tampa Bay Bucks, who were a 2 seed that
year. And had the early lead, and everybody's going, this is going to be cake.
Well, Brian Mitchell took the opening kickoff, like all the way down. They come in, the Bucks come in, they had the 24th ranked offense, but they did have the top ranked defense that year, and they just dominated after that. 27-10, we all remember Rondé Barber taking it back the other way.
There are 2 other names that pop out to me in that game.
Joe Juravicius.
That's one of them. He was a Penn Stater. And
Derek Brooks.
That was Blaine Bishop.
Oh, Blaine
pops
Bishop.
Out to me because he let Juravicius, I think, go down the middle of the field.
I think you're correct. Man, I hate that game. I hate that game.
What was next?
All right, next, 3 straight years. 2003, coming off of 4th and 26 against the Packers. The number 1 Eagles, number 1 seed, take on the number 3 seed Carolina Panthers and Jake Delhomme. We talked about this yesterday. Panthers weren't that good of a team. Came in with the 16th ranked offense, the 8th ranked defense, and they held the Eagles to 3 points, beat them 14-3. McNabb got hurt in that game, played terribly. The receivers couldn't get off the damn line of scrimmage.
Now I start to realize why people have scars.
Yeah, 3 years in a row.
Well, 3, but 2 that was ridiculous. Like the Tampa Bay game and the Carolina game are scarred beyond belief for me.
Well, the Tampa
Bay
Rams,
one was
bad.
You expect them to lose the Rams. But 2002, 2003 kicked you right in the groin.
It really did. In 2002, it was going to be like storybook. The last game at the Vet, they're going to win it. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. But then 2003, I don't think anybody expected them to lose to the Panthers. I mean, all of us were I don't even remember where the Super Bowl was that year, but we're all already counting our tickets for that. But then they come back. Let's get the mojo going.
Next year. So we got 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2004 against who? Mike Vick.
Exactly.
And the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons come to town. It was a cold day. Remember, it had snowed, I think, the day or 2 before. They had people out there clearing the snow. It was cold. That's the algae crumpler hit by Brian Dawkins. But similar to Jaden Daniels. Now, I know Mike Vick wasn't a rookie. But similar to Jaden Daniels, everyone was saying, no one can stop Mike Vick. No one can stop him. The Eagles aren't going to be able to stop him. They held him to 10 points, and the Philadelphia Eagles win that game 27-10, finally getting over the hump. And if you remember, they did it without T.O. He comes back for the Super Bowl, but they got the mojo going in that one.
All right. Now we get to 2008. Now we'll go to the phones here, or we'll go to a break. Because 2008 has just as much heartbreak for me as 2002 and 2003, where they played a team that I thought they were way superior than, even though the Cardinals, for some reason, may have been favored. Because the Eagles, what, 9-7 that year?
I believe the Eagles were 9-6-1 that year. It was the tie.
It was the fluke. I mean, clearly, I thought they were the better team than the Cardinals.
They were, and the Cardinals were a 4 seed that year. The Cardinals were 9-7. You go into that game, the Cardinals didn't have a great defense, 19th ranked defense. They did have Warner and Larry Fitzgerald. McNabb played terribly in the first half of that game, but then turns it on in the second half. Eagles leave the field on offense with the lead, and they end up losing that game 32-25.
And on their final drive, they get to the 50-yard line or the 49, their own 49, or the Arizona's 49. I can't remember exactly. However, they did not move the ball 1 inch. First down at the 49 with a chance to win it. Did not move the ball an inch. And the final play, who was the incompletion to?
Final play.
Chad Curtis.
Wow. Chris Curtis. Was it Chris Curtis or Chad Curtis?
Kevin
Curtis.
Kevin Curtis.
Yeah. Wait, who's Chris Curtis?
I don't know.
Where'd I come up with that
who's
one?
Chad Curtis? I don't know.
I think we combined Chad Lewis, Kevin Curtis.
Yeah, all right. It was Kevin Curtis dropping the football.
Oh, man, that one hurt, too.
And he overthrew, I believe, Westbrook in the flat.
Well, that was one of those things where when they talk about the Commanders being a team of destiny, that was another team. That Eagles team where they get in the last game of the year. I think it was the game where they dominated the Cowboys like 44-6, the last game of the season. They get in with the tie. I was working for the Eagles then, and I remember the message on the sidelines, basically. I remember Brian Dawkins saying it, too. They never should have let us in. They never should have let us in. Thinking that this team now, we're playing good football. We're a team of destiny. And then they go into Arizona and somehow.
You were working for the Eagles then?
I was.
Did you ever tell McNabb he sucked?
No, I never told McNabb that.
Were you itching to do that?
No, I was actually a McNabb guy.
You were a company man.
Well, I was a McNabb fan. I thought that maybe the hate on him was a little overblown.
Of course you did. 610-632-0975. Nick Sirianni is coming up after this. This is the final presser prior to the game. Listen for it. We're back after this.
It's time for Birds
Oh, man. It's 12:13, Mike Missanelli Show live at Rally. I think a lot of friendly people that are stopping to join us here.
Yes.
We got a guy from Gettysburg.
We had
two guys from Gettysburg.
Two Gettysburg grads.
An old grad and one of my buddy, Scott Kremp from Kremp's Florist, who I've known for a really long time. Actually, it makes me feel old because it was my first job out of college, and I covered schools in the area, and he played for Jenkintown. He wound up playing basketball for Gettysburg.
Yeah, he played. Yeah. And then the older grad reminded us that Gettysburg and Penn State used to play each other in football.
They did. Gettysburg was trying to grow their football program, and they scheduled Penn State. And what's the record against Penn State?
In 29 games, the Gettysburg Bullets versus the Penn State Nittany Lions, 28-1. But they got that one tie, Mike.
And they probably got that tie, and they had jackets made, right, Scott? The thing about Scott is, like, he played for Jenkintown. Now, I showed you the scores of my high school basketball team, right?
Yeah, they dominated.
My high school basketball team scored over 100 points without a three-point shot 5 times that year we played for the state title. And we used to beat Jenkintown like 105-60. And so years later, Jenkintown hired a coach who I got to be friendly with. He was a tough coach. He was a taskmaster, and he built a decent program there. So Jenkintown beats Bristol for the first time in like 75 years. My man has the audacity to get jackets commemorating the game with the score on it. Scott says he still has the jacket.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
All right, 610-632-0975. Let's go back to the years now, Bill. So we passed the bad years, 2002, 2003, and 2008.
Yeah, and you mixed in, 04, obviously they get over the hump.
Yes.
But in the last 2 NFC Championships games, both of them at home at Lincoln Financial Field. We all remember 2017 when the Minnesota Vikings come out with Case Keenum. They go on an opening drive, score a touchdown, I believe, to Kyle Rudolph in the left end of the end zone. And then everything changed because Patrick Johnson takes – was it Patrick Johnson? Patrick Robinson. Patrick Johnson's the guy that was just recently on the team. Patrick Robinson takes it the other way. Eagles win that game 38-7. With Nick Foles at quarterback, who's the honorary captain this weekend.
They had gotten Patrick Robinson from the Colts in the middle of the season, I think. They had made a trade for him, I think.
I think they may have signed him in the offseason. I can't remember
maybe
now.
You're right.
But I think they may have signed him. But that was a year where Howie Roseman, every single offseason acquisition hit, because if you remember, too, Case Keenum's arm was hit by Chris Long.
Yeah.
Who was a 1-year deal. LeGarrette Blount was a 1-year deal. They get Jay Ajayi in the middle of the season that year. A lot of different moves, but that led them to the Super Bowl. And then the next time they have the NFC Championship game was only 2 years ago at Lincoln Financial Field against the San Francisco 49ers, who came in here with a top 5 offense, the number 1 defense. Eagles dominated that game 31-7, knocked out Brock Purdy, knocked out Josh Johnson. So we're 2 in a row. Can we make it 3 in a row with the Lincoln?
They had you playing quarterback that game.
Well, yeah, Purdy couldn't even throw.
49ers, and they never let us forget it, that they didn't have a quarterback.
They never let us forget it. And every single time I hear a San Francisco 49ers fan whine about it, you got to go back to your genius head coach, Kyle Shanahan, decided to block one of the best defensive players in the year that year, Hassan Reddick, with a backup tight end. That's why Purdy got knocked out of the game. So if you didn't want to see that happen, don't put a backup tight end on arguably the best defensive player on the field that season.
All right, Nick Sirianni was supposed to be on.
I don't like tardiness.
This is getting to be it's getting to be a game. Like he was 40 minutes late yesterday, and he was scheduled to be on at 12:10 today. So again, we're at the mercy of your favorite head coach, who's had absolutely no consideration for others.
Yeah, right.
I don't like tardiness.
Now, Ray, maybe I'll make you feel a little bit better. I saw earlier you put up on the board that someone had a funny text about me. I know it makes you feel good when you can make fun of me.
Yeah.
I'm actually too mad at your boy to be interested in anything else, but we will get that text for you on you because I appreciate it. They were responding to earlier when you guys were going into the Roman Empire and discussing whether or not Bill would be a good emperor. And Kevin from Idaho says, I'm not sure Bill would make a great emperor, but I know he would continuously praise the emperor for all things said emperor has done that is far better than any other who has ever lived. He would tell us everyone around him and continuously sing songs of his praise. Some folks even speculate he's secretly related to the emperor.
Bill would be the guy next to the emperor with the joust. Don't say anything about him.
But that texter then is basically comparing Nick Sirianni to a Roman emperor, and I like that comparison.
Yuck.
So much good.
Yeah,
so much
all
good.
Right, so we're still waiting for Nick Sirianni. In the meantime, we have to go now to the game, the final game. All right, so
what are you talking about?
It's this one. It's this one.
Oh, you talking about the 2024 one now?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one where the Philadelphia Eagles come in. Now, you look at all their opponents in the last 7 NFC Championship games. The Commanders are by far the lowest seeded team. I mean, they're a 6 seed. You'd have to go back to that Cardinals one where the Cardinals were a 4 seed. But other than that, it was all 1, 2, and 3 seeds that the Eagles played. They're playing a 6 seed. They're playing a rookie quarterback. They're playing a team that didn't have a top 5 offense, that didn't have a top 5 defense. The Eagles are favored by 6 points, in some places 6.5 points. We should be feeling very good going in against this opponent. And Ray reminded me in the beginning of the week, a lot of us wanted this to be the wild card opponent.
Yeah.
So why now are there some fans who are nervous? But I haven't heard any nerves today. I've heard some positivity.
Yeah, I agree. There's none, but maybe silence is nerves. I don't know, or maybe it's overconfidence. I don't know. But see, Sirianni's messing up because we have the news at noon that we have to get to. And so I don't know whether to go into the news at noon and have to break in for Sirianni or go to. But I'll tell you what, let's go to a break. We'll come back. Hopefully Sirianni's in front of the podium. And then we'll do the news at noon, which would be a little later than noon. 610-632-0975. We got James on hold. James, you hang in there. We'll get to you. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
One win from going to the Super Bowl. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is driven by Gary Barbera the best? Boy, I guess. Get Barbera Jeeps extra cheap during Coach Nick's week. Drive like Brandon Graham and Coach Nick's pick. Gary Barbera's playoffs payoff. Is Barbera the best? Boy, I guess. For the 8th time this century, the Eagles are on the doorstep of playing in the Super Bowl. The Birds host the Commanders at 3 o'clock on Sunday in the NFC Championship game. Still questions about the availability of center Cam Jurgens and tight end Dallas Goedert after the two have been DNPs on both Wednesday and Thursday's injury reports. Both Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Hurts were full participants in Thursday's practice after being limited on Wednesday after being banged up in that game against the Rams over the weekend. Lane Johnson was asked about how his quarterback looked in practice.
He looked good. I was out there today firing around, so we had a good practice. We went to the link, so it was good. He was mobile, he was moving, and
Game on Sunday will be broadcast live right here on The Fanatic. We'll have the Westwood One broadcast of the NFC Championship game at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-1 to the Rangers. Turned to action tonight against the Islanders. 76ers back in action against the Cavs. Tonight at 7, you can hear it on The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. Coming January 25th, tomorrow, the biggest fighting event ever to hit Philadelphia. Knuckle Mania 5 from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. Saturday, January 25th at Wells Fargo Center. I'm Ray Dunn. Remind that live coverage of the Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday at 2 o'clock right here on The Fanatic.
Artie, it is 12:27 on the Mike Missanelli Show live from Rally House in Willow Grove, and the head coach, Nick Sirianni, is at the podium.
Again, I know you guys, like you said, repeatedly, you do everything the same. It's kind of boring. You're intentional about that. But obviously this time of year, there's always just a heightened sense of everything. Media attention, from every angle. Did anything that happened a couple years ago when you were in this position, have you used anything and learned and put it forward this year? Do you take anything from 2 years ago? Is different scenario, different players, different things? Like, what's kind of the parallels, I guess I should ask?
Yeah, business as usual. Again, if you're not preparing like you do for this game, week 10, like what are you doing? So our job is to stay consistent. Yeah, there might be a few more cameras, a few more people, but really our job is to try to get better during the week to give ourselves a chance to win each Sunday. That's how we go about our business. And it's all about the preparation, the work. I firmly believe you're going to play how you practice. We've had a good week of practice. We've got to go out there and have a good day today. And that's all our intentions on.
Landon Dickerson been your backup center all season?
That's just how we have the depth chart and how we feel as a team where we should be.
What do you like about him in that position?
Yeah, he's done it, and he's solid at it, and he was obviously did it at a high level in college, and we cross-train our guys. A ton of guys cross-train different positions, and that's where we are.
Is there any benefit to having the backup center be someone who's already a starter? We've seen it with Landon and then Cam before that, Isaac before that.
I don't know if there's an advantage to it or a disadvantage to it. Again, we just try to practice. We've had a good week of practice. We've got to go out there and have a good day today. He was obviously did it at a high level in college, and we cross-train our guys. A ton of guys cross-train different positions, and that's where we are.
Is there any benefit to having the backup center be someone who's already a starter? We've seen it with Landon and then Cam before that, Isaac before that.
I don't know if there's an advantage to it or a disadvantage to it. Again, we just try to do our job and Stout does a great job of cross-training the guys so guys can play multiple positions. And, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Will Cam be able to practice today?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I can say he's progressing, but we'll see where he is. And you guys will get a report later today.
How about Dallas?
Yeah, we'll see. You guys will get a report later today.
When it comes to this week, you mentioned you had a good week. What does that mean to you that you see that you think is good?
Yeah, again, I firmly believe that you play how you practice. Like that's just what this is. Our habits are going to be reflected out in the field. What that means to me, just all the things that we constantly talk about. How did we tackle? All right, and I know you're thinking, well, you guys don't go to the ground, but your angles in tackle, your vice tackling, all those different things. How did we take the football away? How did we block? How did we get off blocks? How did we execute? How did we were we all on the same page? So just stuff that that we talk about all the time. Again, our habits throughout the week, our meeting process, our walkthrough process, everything.
Given the hit that was put on Jalen in the last time you guys played against Washington, what's your reaction to their talk this week about making sure they hit him like a running back?
Yeah, again, we understand. I kind of answered this question yesterday. We understand that when he is carrying the football, they're gonna try to tackle him. But nothing changes as far as we're very cautious with what we do. And I don't think cautious is the right word, actually. It's more, we're very aware of everything. We try to put Jalen in safe situations. We want him to put himself in safe situations. And we understand that there's a lot of things that Jalen does, in the running game that help us run the football. And, it's as we go through it, we do whatever we got to do to win the game, but his safety is always at the forefront of our mind.
How confident are you that Cam could play without practicing?
Again, there's a lot of other things other than practice that go into it, right? There's walkthrough, there's meetings. So we'll see how that goes. There's been guys that have done it. There's been guys that haven't. we'll see where we are at the end of the week.
This time of year, there's a lot of conversation about alignment between head coach and GM. How have you been able to achieve that here, especially without a pre-existing relationship before you got here with Howie?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, obviously, I'm so thankful. I think a lot of guys that get into head coaching positions go in, and sometimes they have a rookie GM with them. I know I talk a lot about the 4 offense and defensive linemen that I inherited when I got here, with Jason and Fletch and Lane and BG, but how huge is it that I have an experienced big time GM, in my opinion, best GM in the NFL, that's there to help me, go through the course of a first season, and so that was kind of where it started, and just how grateful I am for Howie. And then, we just, talk about everything, constant communication about everything. And just like I say to the players, you can't be great without the greatness of others. I feel that same way about Howie. Without him doing his job great, it's tough to be, it's tough to do your job great. And so, just so thankful for him, and just, I can't say enough about that.
Two more, and then we're going to flip
Kind
it.
of along those lines, the head coach QB relationship, when you got hired, I guess it was like 4 years ago this week, you didn't handpick your quarterback and everything. What did you see in Jalen back then that kind of led you to believe that you'd be here again?
Yeah, we obviously did a lot of work on Jalen when we were in Indy. So really liked him there. Thought obviously a winner, could throw the ball really well, could create plays really well. And so that was a good start to that. And I say the same thing I just said about Howie. I inherit these four offensive and defensive linemen. I get to be able to work with Howie, and then I have a quarterback like Jalen to start off your NFL coaching career with as a head coach. I mean, there's blessed in many ways in that area.
Do you have a sense of where Jalen's mobility will be for Sunday?
I think he's had a good week of practice, and I think he's done some really good things all week, and we'll see.
All right, I'm going to flip it.
There you go. That is Nicky Sirianni. And no, listen, the important stuff is, and he's being very cagey about it, the conditions of Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens.
And even Jalen. He didn't give us much on Jalen.
Not much on Jalen, but we know Jalen's going to play. But if they have to make a switch at center and tight end, that's monstrous.
The center one bothers me more than anything. I mean, nothing. I'm not taking anything away from Dallas Goedert. He's very, very good. They could survive with Grant Calcaterra. I get nervous, though, if you have to replace Jurgens because, like we talked about earlier, you're replacing 2 positions because you're moving Dickerson to center. So now you got to play Tyler Steen at left guard. It just messes up the whole continuity of that offensive line. But everything I'm reading on Twitter was it sounds like the players think Jurgens is playing based off of the vibe in the locker room. So we'll see. We'll get the injury report coming up after practice today. But let's just hope that Cam Jurgens is good to go. And then how effective is he, too, Mike, if he plays? Even if he fights through the pain, how effective is he going to be on game day? It's another factor.
All right, 610-632-0975. You heard it. Any worries about this game? We'll go over some of the worries that I have, but I don't really have a worry. I'm just trying to put everything in the fire can and blow it up for tomorrow for Sunday. Mike Missanelli Show live at Rally House. Back after this.
ESPN's Tim McManus on the best show ever.
Ippy here at Rally House for the show today, and we had just heard from Nick Sirianni, and that means we have delayed our special edition today of the News at Noon. So, Ray, let's do the News at Noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the News at Noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Well, the saga of Shohei Ohtani's interpreter keeps going on, Ray. And we have some insane audio of the guy who pretended to be him and tried to take out $200,000 to cover betting gets. I think his name was Ippy.
Yes.
Right? All right, so here is the News at Noon with Ray Dunn.
Yeah, and that takes you right into the first piece of audio here. They have the audio now released of one of the calls made to the bank trying to get $200,000, where he claims he's Shohei Ohtani, and he claims that he's getting a car loan for a friend.
Who am I speaking with? Shohei Ohtani. Thank you. How may I help you? So I tried to log into online banking, and it told me that's not available to me at this time. I need a call. Sure, I can take a look into that. Alrighty. And could you tell me the name of the payee and the amount of the transaction, please? The person I'm sending to? Yes. It's for $200,000. Thank you. Alrighty. Now, recently we come across a trend of fraud and scams, so we have been monitoring the online transactions closely to make sure our clients are not the victim of either. What is the reason for this transaction? For a car loan. Okay. You said it's for a car loan? Yeah. Okay. What is your relationship to the payee? He's my friend. Okay.
Okay, that's it. So he's pretending to be Shohei, right?
Yes, he's pretending to be Shohei in that clip.
So he needs $200,000 for a car, which would probably be in the neighborhood of what Shohei would buy, right?
For his friend.
For his friend. But they were on to him, weren't they, Ray?
I guess. I mean, I feel like there has to be a little bit more line of questioning for a car loan. Okay.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how that call ended, though. Like, she might have gone down. No.
But that was only $200,000. He was accused of stealing what, $17 million? So how many times was that successful?
Well, he probably hit other banks, like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, I was on yesterday. I actually watched some of it. But I still don't understand how you steal $17 million and Shohei doesn't know about it. I mean, I know he's worth a ton of money, but $17 million, $17 million.
I'm telling you, these guys, these professional athletes, they don't check stuff like that. Come on.
And this dude.
This guy, he's worried about one thing, hitting the baseball.
Yeah,
that's
but
all he's worried about.
That's a shame this guy tried to take advantage of him like that. He's supposed to be his friend.
His best friend. Supposed to be his best friend.
When it comes to the dollar bill and you're in gambling debt, do you have friends?
That's why they call it.
You steal a penny from a dead man's eye.
That's why it's called show business, not show friend.
All right, let's go to next up. Oh, this is one of my favorites. I love this. I can't get enough of this. Yeah, our old pal, number 25 in your heart. That's why my Twitter is Mike Miss 25. Go ahead, Ray.
What was formerly known as the old man in the three, JJ Redick's podcast, is now the young man in the three, where a bunch of different guys take turns hosting it. Ben Simmons, a guest on the podcast this week, and they asked him to put a cap on his tenure in Philadelphia.
Going to a city like Philadelphia was, from Melbourne, Australia, went to Louisiana, like completely different places. Like the fans, like I didn't appreciate the fans enough. Like the fans of Philadelphia are incredible. Like you always want to play for a team that has a good fan base, whether they're booing or whatever. You just want fans to care. You want the arena packed. So just having that experience in Philadelphia was amazing. Like I'm so grateful to have played there.
Man, this guy has the balls of an elephant. honest to God. I mean, are you kidding me, dude? You messed up that franchise 100 different ways with your shenanigans, and now you're going to try to curry up? Come on.
Maybe he wants to come back.
What a fraud. Good Lord, I can't get... This guy is the worst human being that ever put on any kind of a Philadelphia jersey.
He didn't appreciate us enough, he said, Mike.
Wait, you're going to tell me that now? What am I, an idiot? All right, let's move on. The last one.
Sid, I'm taking this before you move on. You wouldn't welcome Ben Simmons back?
Are you kidding me? I'm seriously. He's like Satan to me.
There are people who are still pushing for it. They were pushing for it in the offseason.
He can't even play anymore.
Bring him back, they're saying.
Stop.
All right, final one here. Let's take you to something relevant to this Sunday. Joe Gibbs down with Grant and Danny on 105.7 in D.C., telling you that this Commanders team has the real feel of a championship group.
It's kind of amazing that in one of the things about football, and you got a team
sometimes a team just gets a real feeling and they care about each other and everything. And it doesn't carry over from year to year. For instance, 87, when we won the Super Bowl in San Diego, we came back the next year and had our toughest year. It doesn't carry over sometimes. But when certain teams get a certain feeling, as a coach, I know I could feel it. And you just have a confidence about the team. And I think this team has done that.
You have that feeling?
All due respect. Joe Gibbs is 84 and he's been inhaling NASCAR fumes for the last 30 years. All right.
You always know when an all due respect comes, you're going to disrespect the hell out of him.
I hate to break it to him, but come on.
Yeah, he's 84. But although he's 84, I mean, Pete Carroll did just get hired in Vegas, so who knows? Maybe Joe Gibbs still has some coaching left.
No, he doesn't have any coaching left. Pete Carroll's spry. You would never know he's 73.
No, you wouldn't. And they gave him a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option. But, yeah, Joe Gibbs, shut up.
By the way, so that's the news at noon. I one thing to say to you, because the guy was here from Gettysburg, and he's waving around a letter from the university to stay in touch, like
give me money.
Well, it's like you're a graduate of Gettysburg, and here's this little leaflet that we mail out all the time. And if you want to give, that's fine, but we're thinking of you. You don't get that. Why is that?
Well, it probably goes to my parents' house. I don't think I've updated my alumni information for them to contact me and solicit.
Now, right. You see, big star on campus, big man on campus, big tight end, muscle dude, protein shake magnet, right? And he doesn't get can you figure this out, right?
I can. I mean, he was a big shot lawyer for a long time. You had to go through 6 different people to get to him through most of his career. Exactly. So I'm sure one of those 6 people is holding on to those envelopes.
You're damn right. I didn't take unscheduled calls when I was an attorney. Every call
doesn't
was
surprise
scheduled.
me in the least.
You don't interrupt. When you get interrupted, you lose 7 minutes on average before you can get back focused to what you were doing. So every call should be scheduled. Look, I'm going to give you a little productivity lesson.
Yeah, he had one secretary for every minute he would lose by an interruption.
Yeah, that was his excuse for when Gettysburg called for him not to contribute.
Well, I do get calls.
No, you got to make an appointment.
The Athletic Blue and Orange Club, whatever they call it, they do call me. But I will be honest.
Oh, the Blue and Orange Club. How much have you donated to the Blue and Orange Club?
I have not donated. I will admit it. I have not donated.
That is a disgrace.
I haven't donated yet.
You wore the blue and orange every Saturday when you played the Little Sisters.
Listen, I got
community college.
I got 3 kids now. Charity starts at home, Mike. First, then I'll take care of the blue and orange.
Oh man! All right. We're going to take it. On the other side, I got a couple more stories I want to dig into, including last night in California. A high school kid scored 102 points.
I didn't see this.
You didn't see
I thought you were going to talk about the high school kid that got in a fight on the court.
Well, he knocked out 2 guys.
Yeah.
Guy. I'm talking about a kid who scored 102 points, and they were up 79-0. I want to see how you react to rubbing it in, Bill.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have a problem.
610-632-0975 back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
One win from going to the Super Bowl. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. For the 8th time in this century, the Eagles are on the doorstep of playing in the Super Bowl. The Birds host the Commanders at 3 o'clock on Sunday in the NFC Championship game. There's still questions about the availability of center Cam Jurgens and tight end Dallas Goedert. The 2 have been DNPs on both Wednesday and Thursday's injury report. From what we're seeing right now, reports are they are out at practice right now. We'll get you more on their injury report. That comes out later today from the Eagles. Of course, Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Hurts were full participants in Thursday's practice after they were banged up against the Rams. Lane Johnson talked about Hurts' performance on Thursday at practice.
He looked good. I was out there today firing around, so we had a good practice. We went to the link, so it was good. He was mobile, he was moving, and
Going to want him mobile for that Sunday NFC Championship game that we'll have the Westwood One broadcast of right here on 97.5. The Fanatic going live at 2 o'clock. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-1 to the Rangers. Turned to action tonight against the Islanders. 76ers back in action tonight against the Cavs. At 7 o'clock, you can hear that game right here on the Fanatic. This update's brought to you by WorldwideStereo.com. Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program makes it easier to upgrade your home audio system. Find out what your old gear is worth for the best trade-in allowance on new equipment by completing the online form or stop in store. worldwidestereo.com. I'm Ray Dunn, reminding that live coverage of the Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Let me just delve into this story real quickly, because I want to get your opinion of this. All right, so the high school is called Mesrobian High. It's outside of L.A., and it's an Armenian school. And a pair of twins named Nick and Dylan Kachikian of Mesrobian High broke the state single-game scoring and assist record in a 119-25 win over Waverly High from Pasadena, California. Nick scored 102 of his team's 119 in the contest. They led at halftime 79-0, and he scored all 79 points. The brother set a state record by with 35 assists. He shot 48 for 60 from the field with only 6 3-point attempts and 4 free throws. Your thoughts, Bill? 79-0 at halftime.
Yeah, the kids never should have seen the second half. I mean, what was the point in putting them out there other than to just, well, I guess they wanted to set the record and do all that stuff. But to me, I don't think in a high school football game or a basketball game, excuse me, these aren't professional athletes. You don't need to rub it in like that. They should have never played the second half. Probably shouldn't even have played the second quarter. If 79-0?
79-0, and he scored all 79.
Yeah, no. That's a bad move. I put that on the coach. Don't let the kid play. You would have played him?
I would have double-teamed the kid. I mean, my God, what are you kidding me? How does that kid squeeze all 60 shots?
Wait, and the brother got the most assists.
Pasadena, what is it? Pasadena is, I guess, is that a pretty rich area? So this is a private school. Waverly is a private school in Pasadena. I assume their athletic programs aren't very good. When you lose 79-0, you can't. You got to be kind of like
No, you can't do that.
The Kleprock of high school basketball.
Well, I remember. I'm drawing a blank on his name now. DeJuan Wagner from Camden. He scored 100 points back in high school against a. Forget, was it like? It was like a technical school or something.
Well,
and I thought the same thing. What is he even in the game for?
Let me give you a little tidbit about my hometown and the street I lived on. As you saw in the podcast, The Coldest Murder.
And then I visited. I went and drove the street that Mikey missed.
You did. My neighbor who lived on that street, he was older than me, set a state record by scoring 114 points in a game.
Was it a blowout, too?
132-79.
So that's a little bit more understandable. At least it's somewhat competitive.
His name was Pete Cimino, and he wound up pitching in the major leagues. So he was like this crazy legendary athlete. But 114 points with no three-point shot.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. But you would have taken these kids out of the game, right? You wouldn't have played these.
It's 79-0. I mean, come on. Seriously.
So at what point do the Eagles rest their starters on Sunday?
When they're ahead 79-0. All right, you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All righty. So early in the show, I wanted to purge the worries. Here are the worries that I listed. Juergens, Quinion against Scary Terry. Jalen's health. Game 2 as a starting linebacker for Oren Burks. Team of Destiny factor for the Commanders. AJ, only a couple catches the last couple games. What's going on with him? Did he cram the book last night at least? and Kicky Boy. Jake Elliott.
Oh,
Jake Elliott, Kicky Boy.
Or as your buddy called him, Missy Elliott.
Yes. So did any of these worries concern you?
I told you the injury ones are the ones that would concern me because I think the formula to win has been the formula to win all season, running the football. And if the offensive line isn't 100% because of Juergens and Jalen Hurts isn't 100% because of the knee, that will have an impact on the rushing attack. Now, how much of an impact will be yet to be determined until you see what they can do. They're going up against a bad Commanders rush defense, but we all remember what happened in that second game where the Commanders beat the Eagles. Once Hurts left and the Commanders were able to adjust knowing that Kenny Pickett was not a threat in the rushing attack, they were able to shut down Saquon Barkley. So you have to hope that Jalen's knee still allows him to be mobile, still allows him to be a part of that rushing attack, and then the best offensive line in football. I'm hoping Cam Jurgens plays, because if not, you're weakening two positions. Dickerson's not going to be as good at center as Jurgens, and Tyler Steen clearly not as good as Dickerson was at left guard. So those would be my bigger concerns.
Yeah, I agree with you. The communication on the offensive line is key, and you mess around like that, maybe they get a sack off of that. But, of course, the big worry is the passing game. Everybody, that's the national narrative, the passing game. They're not good enough passing game if they stop Barkley, which they never will. The passing game, he's going to have to win with his arm. I don't think he's going to have to do that. But your boy, Chris Sims, how about him? How about that guy, that weasel, who we put on broil early this week for saying that the Eagles' passing game was terrible and it's going to be their downfall. Now what is he saying?
So I just saw on Twitter he went back on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams, and he gave his picks for this weekend, and he picked the Eagles to win because they are, quote, the most complete team in football. But what he didn't say was, but if you remove the running back and the defensive tackle, they're not.
Yeah, this guy Hood got to say the Rams really should have won the game, basically, because they had more plays and blah, blah, blah. And you take away this and take away that. And now this idiot's saying they're the best team in football. It is amazing how these guys just roll on. All right, let's go back to the phones, and we will talk to James in New Jersey. He's been hanging for a long time. James, thanks for hanging. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mr. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, James?
Well, I just want to compare this game to, you remember the Seinfeld episode with the showerhead?
Sure, the Turbo.
Yeah.
The Turbo 800.
Well, this defense is the Turbo. They think that we're going to be flat-headed, but the defense is going to be at 100%, I believe. And whatever the offense does, it really doesn't matter because we have the defense to bring us to the next level. What happens, they're monsters on the other side over there, but I believe that we can have the defense to do it. It's really the defense that's going to bring us there, and we have to get pumped up because we have to get behind our boys. The defense gets it.
I don't think there's any question the defense is going to be steady. They've been steady all year. And, yeah, it's funny because I look at the other side of it. Here's what the Commanders are going to have to stop Barkley about. The Commanders have been terrible against running backs this year. So what's going to happen? Some magic potion? All of a sudden they're going to
Barkley's going to do Barkley. Barkley is going to absolutely be a
even
monster.
if they overcompensate and put 8 in the box, that's money for a passing game.
Why should we be worried? We should be literally celebrating this. Not yet, but we should literally be.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you, James. I don't think anybody
is getting behind our boys. We should be galvanizing it.
I think everybody's behind the boys. I don't think anybody's really nervous about the game.
I'm not nervous.
No, I just created some worries in case we needed to purge them.
No, we don't need to be worried, buddy. We don't need to be worried, Mike. I've been with you for a long, long, long time.
And my logic speaks for itself.
The logic always speaks for itself.
See, James? See, Bill? See what James said? My logic always speaks for itself.
Yeah, you are the king of logic. I'll give you that.
I am. And, in fact, the text board has even recognized this, that you've come to my side. Right, Ray?
Yeah, Larry
from West Philly.
Check it in. You know the Eagles are good because Mike and Bill are agreeing.
There you go.
That is true.
For the first time, Bill has come to his senses.
Well, I mean, I don't want to bring up bad memories since we're trying to exercise the demons today, but I was right about the Phillies, but let's not talk about that today. And we will also not mention that I was right about Nick Sirianni. We also will not mention that I was one of the first to declare the Eagles as Super Bowl contenders. But hey, you know what I mean? We're in agreement today, so let's keep it there.
You got lucky with the Phillies. I'll give you the Sirianni. I'd be an idiot to refute your Sirianni love at this point.
Well, let's keep the good vibes going because I'm seeing our own Andrew DeCecco just tweeted out. Guess who's back in practice today? Cam Jurgens.
All right, there you go.
So that's good news.
They were laying low, and we'll have we'll have the declaration whether they're playing after this practice. Right? They'll have to give the
Well, they'll have to at least, I guess.
They'll address it. They have to address it.
They'll address his injury report.
Yeah.
It looks like Dallas Goedert is also back on the practice field. So maybe the Eagles are going to be 100% healthy for Sunday.
Well, there you go. It's all good news. Tim McManus is going to come on and give us the lowdown on those guys being at practice. He's at 125, so hang in there. And I'm being told that maybe Jalen Hurts at 140.
Keep the main thing.
Yeah.
We'll see. I highly doubt we're going to get him before 2 o'clock.
You're down to 140 on Jalen?
Yeah, no way. We'll see. I'm saying there's zero chance that we get Jalen before the end of 2 o'clock.
Well, you're really optimistic. Thanks for that.
I don't like tardiness.
I'm sure other people appreciated your optimism there. They'll be tuning out at 140 now.
Well, no, because we still got to tell you our picks for this weekend, so you're not going to want to miss that.
I already made my pick. We really have to go through this charade of this pick?
Talk about the other game.
What other game? Is there another game?
Who are they going to play in the Super Bowl?
I don't even care.
And I want to know who you want in the Super Bowl.
I don't want any of them.
Oh, you're scared?
Doesn't matter.
Are you scared?
The Eagles might not be the favorite against any of those two teams.
I don't think the Eagles would be the favorite, but I still would be picking them.
I always cross that bridge when I get to it. I don't cross the bridge before.
But I am curious about what your pick is this weekend, Kansas City, Buffalo. So we'll talk about that, too.
Oh, what's the line?
1.5, I believe the Chiefs are favored.
Chiefs 1.5 at home?
Last time I checked. I'll check that. We'll get to it on the other side.
All right. The Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
WRID, it's 111. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic, right here at the Rally House in Willow Grove. A great big store. The inventory here is just phenomenal. You were studying all that good Penn State stuff back there. I think you're a wannabe.
You know what's nice is they got the Penn State stuff literally in the farthest back part of the store, so you got to walk through everything else to get there.
Yeah, they have the Gettysburg stuff down the street.
Gettysburg, you don't have any of that.
All right, so yeah, no Gettysburg stuff here. All right, let's get back to the phones here. You know, I wanted to run this story by you about this Paul Skeens guy.
You mentioned that yesterday.
Yeah, have you read this story?
I did not.
All right, so I don't know the memorabilia business. But apparently there's something called a rookie debut patch autograph card. And it's a one of one. So they put it out. That's Topps Chrome Update rookie debut patch one of one autograph card. And it comes in a box of cards, and you never know if you're going to get it. So this kid gets it. He's a California kid. I think he's 11 years old. And the Pirates have offered him a deal to turn the card in.
What's the deal?
Well, the deal is season tickets for the Pirates, 2 season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years, a softball game for 30 at PNC Park, and coaching from Pirates alum, a spring training experience like no other, private tour of Pirate City, Laycomb Park meet and greet with Paul Skeens, 2 Paul Skeens autographed jerseys. You take batting practice and warm up with the team, and other unique experiences. Or $1 million.
Wait, if he tried to sell the card himself, it's a $1 million card?
I don't know. I don't know that much about the memorabilia business, but it's either $1 million or you can take with the Pirates offer.
Did you say 30 years of season tickets?
Yes. But he's not a Pittsburgh guy. First of all, with 30 years watching that Drek-ass team, seriously? You're behind the plate, you're watching Pirates for 30 years? That's torture.
I'm just wondering how much you could sell those tickets for over the next 30. Like, what's the better investment financially, to take the milli now or to get 30 years of tickets that you could sell?
I don't know, man. But, you know.
I'm probably taking the mill.
You taking the mill?
Probably. Especially, like you say, he's from California. What does he care about going to Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
he can sell to a Pirates season ticket holder. I don't know how it works.
What would you do?
$1 million.
You take the mill?
Well, only because it's the Pirates.
What about, all right, same thing.
Like, if it was his hometown team, like, I don't know, it was the Padres, you know, I'm an 11-year-old kid, maybe I'd like that. I got my family for the next 30 years taken care of for the ball games.
Yeah, if it's the Dodgers, you're making that money back probably 30 years worth. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go to Jason. He's calling from Puerto Rico. What's up, Jason?
Mikey Miz, my dude.
What's happening?
It's been a minute. It's been so long. I used to call into the show when you were on the afternoon.
You know, I was just in Puerto Rico.
Lancaster at the time.
I was just in Puerto Rico,
dude,
bro.
You should have hit me up. When was that?
I didn't know. A few weeks ago, I was in Puerto Rico.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've been out here a couple years now, man. So, but I'm actually at the airport right now. My flight is in about 2 hours. I land in Philly at 7. My girl and I, we've literally scheduled the next 2.5 weeks of our lives around this Super Bowl run.
Let me ask you a question. How much did you pay for the tickets?
What, for the games?
Yeah.
Or the flight?
The game.
Oh, I'm not going.
Oh, you're not going to the game. Oh, okay.
I wish I was going to the game. I'm just going back to. I need to be in PA for this. I need to.
Okay. So you're just watching on TV with the fam.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But dude, super confident in this game. We altered our lives over the next 2.5 weeks. I'm moving business meetings out here to the week of February 17th, simply to be there for the parade.
Well, that's good work by you, man, because you're gonna be there for a couple weeks, I think.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah,
and
you're not
by
going
the way,
back to Puerto Rico.
So happy to hear you back on the radio, man. Like, I was devastated. I stopped listening for almost 2 years without you, bro. So happy. Met you a couple times in person. Excited, to hear you. Obviously, go Birds. But I want to say one thing if I can.
Go ahead.
Because I know you remember this, Mikey. November 10th, 1991, 23-0, right? When Jim McMahon led the Birds back against that Bill Belichick Browns defense. and we came back and won that game 32-30 or something like that. Like, that
Jim
was my first
McMahon,
memory
yes,
as a
sir.
kid.
And Belichick's first job, right?
Yeah, my first memory as a kid, I was 7 years old. I remember my brothers going crazy. I had no idea what it was to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. It was the most important day of my life because it changed everything for me. And that passion still lives inside of me all day long. So go Birds. Let's do what we need to do.
All right, brother. Thanks for checking in. Have safe travels, Jason.
Thanks, man.
All right,
Appreciate it.
so I'm looking. Speaking of tickets, I was just looking at them. They're really pricey.
Oh, I can imagine.
Standing room's going for $567.
$567 for standing room only.
Now, second level, $650 area in the 200 level. Let me see if I can get the 100 level. Here's one. It's like 40-yard line, $1,539. Row 28.
But the memories you'll make are priceless.
And one row ahead of it, $1,663. Section 138, even closer, row 23, $1,700. Row 13, $1,727. Man.
Yeah. That's expensive, man.
That really is. Now, what's this here? $5,000. What is this? Where's that little box? What is that?
That must be like on the. I know they have those little boxes behind the end zones. I didn't realize there was one where you found it.
Yeah, there's like a box on field level that is, let's see here, $5,324
per ticket.
Yeah,
or do you get like the box? No, it's got to be per ticket.
It's
right?
field box 124, whatever that is.
That's a terrible view of the game, by the way.
Because you're low?
Yeah, you can't be too low at a football game. You're blocked. You're blocked by everybody on the side.
Row 1, seats 9 and 10. It's the first row in this box here, right at section 124, which is kind of like the 10-yard line corner of the end zone. $5,324. You in?
No, definitely not.
No?
I'd rather be sitting on my couch watching the game. I've gone to enough games. I've stood down there enough times.
Well, it looks like you can get tickets if you're willing to pay.
There's always tickets if you're willing to pay.
Yeah.
Money talk.
50-yard line, 200 deck, $700.
All right, not bad.
Take that one?
I mean, all right, you're asking me if I'm buying tickets. I want to ask you if you're laying this bet. Saquon Barkley right now. The over on rushing yards on Sunday, 125.5.
Wow, that seems so easy. The over, it's got to be an under.
You think he's going under 125?
125 is setting you up for failure.
See, I think
if that's so easy to go over, there must be a trick to it.
Wait a second. If he's under 125, can the Eagles win this football game?
Yes.
Where are they getting the rest of the yards?
A.J. Brown, all pumped up.
Let me get you AJ
with his book.
What do you think AJ's over is?
Yards?
Yeah.
75.
64.5. And they got him as the leading receiver of anybody.
I'm going over for that. I'm going under for Saquon. It's a fishy line, 125.5.
I'm going over on both.
All right. Let's get Justin in here. Justin in New York. What's up, Justin?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
What's going on, Justin? How you doing?
I'm great. I'm fired up for this game. I can't get here soon enough, and I feel very confident. I kind of feel the same way I felt about the Rams game last week. I think the Commanders. It's been a fun story, but I think 3 p.m. Sunday they're dead on arrival. I think this team has no chance, and I think we're just way better everywhere. And that defense, we saw what happened last time in the first quarter of that game. They're not. What are they going to do? They can't stop the run. If they stack the box, I think it's a big A.J. Brown game, like you just said. I think he goes off a little bit. And, the Juergens thing is the one thing. It's not ideal if he can't play. I'll say that.
It looks like he's going to play, and we'll hear definitely by the end of the day.
Yeah, and also the Saquon line you mentioned, I don't know if you know this, but that's the highest over-under on a running back in history. So I think the sportsbooks don't even know what to set it at. Like, they can't put it high enough, but they're not used to even putting a number that high. But, yeah, it's the record for all time. And
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Although, when a guy gains over 2,000 yards, it probably takes him out of the realm of the ordinary running back line that you set.
Yeah.
Don't you think 125.5 is a little low?
I mean, I would take the over. I just don't. I think they don't know. Like I don't even know what to put it at. They probably are thinking, but
yeah, they gave up 200 to Jahmyr Gibbs almost.
It's
Yeah,
weird,
so
unless they're thinking that he gets banged up and he misses a significant part of this game, which would be detrimental, obviously, to the Eagles.
Yeah, and I could see Hurts. I like Hurts over 180 a lot. I think he's gonna have a good throwing day, and I think AJ Brown kind of owns Marshall Lattimore, I think, a little bit. So, and I just wanted to ask you, Bills or Chiefs? I know I'm rooting for the Bills. I think it's a much better matchup.
Well, Bill's about to ask me that, so we're gonna hold off on that until I can. So stay tuned for that. Are you ready to do that now, Bill?
Yeah, we got to hit a break, but when we come back, we'll do our picks for the championship games.
All right.
So we'll do those picks. We got McManus coming up. And by the way, Gibbs only went for 105, even though they gave up 200 rushing. I just want to clarify. So maybe other people chip in or not just Barkley.
All right. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Mike Missanelli Show live at Rally House. We got a big game on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. And the man who covers this team for ESPN.com has written. We wrote a great story on Vic Fangio, by the way, a couple of days ago. He joins us on the Comcast Business Hotline as he does every Friday. He is the great Tim McManus. Hello, Timmy.
What's up, Mike? How you doing today?
Fantastic, Tim. Now, early in the show, I tried to purge any worry that they would have. I want me to go down the list here. The passing game, Jurgens' health, Quignon's health, Jalen's health, the game 2 for Oren Burks, team of destiny factor for the Commanders. AJ's only had a couple of catches, and Jake Elliott, the kicker. Should we be worried about any of these, and what's the update on whether those injured guys are going to play?
Well, we wouldn't be Philadelphians if we weren't worrying a little bit, right? So, but in terms of those specific things, let's look at the injuries. So some good news as Cam Jurgens and Dallas Goedert were both on the practice field today. Both of those guys missed the first 2 days of practice. Goedert because of an ankle, Jurgens because of a back, which is not exactly the type of injury you want for an offensive lineman, but Jurgens walked into the practice facility today, was taking part in warm-ups. We'll see if he's listed as limited or full, but the fact that he and Goddard are back on the field. Positive development for the Eagles. Quinyon Mitchell has been practicing this week. Jalen Hurts was listed as a full participant. I don't know if he's going to be 100%, and that goes for a lot of these guys, Mike, but it looks like they're going to have at least most of their guys out there in this title game.
All right, well, that's good news. And, I don't think they're going to be weak in condition. Guys that play a little banged up, they manage to find full strength when they're actually in a game. So we're all good. So what do we need here to worry about? The Commanders don't stop the run, and the Eagles are going to run the football. I can't imagine that there would be any specific plan to stop Saquon Barkley. So what are the Eagles faced with here?
So Hurts is still a question mark for me. I mean, he's gonna be out there, but if you saw after he got that sack in the third quarter against the Rams last week, he wasn't functioning nearly at the same level. He had 6 carries for 71 yards before that sack, and the only carry he had after the fact was a kneel down to end the game. And you saw that he was more statuesque than normal, including on that safety. And so I have watched him a little bit during the limited amount of time we're out there on the practice field this week, and he doesn't look like that. Like he's moving around, and we saw him working on rollouts and those kind of things. So I don't think he's going to be totally limited in mobility, but I think it's a little bit of a different question. Is he going to be sort of full bore Jalen Hurts? And that's a big deal, because if the Eagles decide, you know what, like we got to get him through the game, and we don't think he's going to be that effective as a runner, I think Washington will pick up on that pretty quick, and they're going to sell out even more than they already would with Saquon Barkley. If he does get hit in the game and that knee flares up, like, is it going to affect his plant leg? So I guess I'm not all the way there with you quite yet. I think that he's absolutely going to play. I think he's largely going to look like himself, but, is the mobility limited, and then does that have a domino effect on the rest of the offense?
All right, Tim, let's talk about the other quarterback then, Jaden Daniels on the other side of the ball. I was a little surprised in the last matchup that Vic Fangio decided to go out of character a little bit, and he blitzed him like crazy, and Jaden Daniels had a lot of success against the blitz, and then you saw the Lions try to blitz him last week, and he had a lot of success. What are you expecting Fangio to do on Sunday?
Yeah, it's interesting, and Mike referenced the piece that I wrote for this week on Fangio. I spoke with his former defensive coordinator, a guy that coached with him for 11 years, Ed Donatel, and he was talking about the shell concept that Fangio uses that's been very successful and sort of mimicked across the NFL. And he was talking about how great that is for traditional, non-running quarterbacks, I guess you would say. And he said it's a different thing when you have a running quarterback. The dynamic switches. In other words, it's not as effective, and you have to scheme up other ways to slow a guy like Jaden Daniels down. And you've seen quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson have had success against Fangio defenses in the past. He did a good job against them for the most part this year, but we've also seen Jackson go off for 5 touchdowns against them. So I guess the overall structure of the defense is not quite as effective. I think that you need to mix things up, which is part of what Fangio is really good at, is trying to throw quarterbacks out of their rhythm. And here you have a rookie quarterback on a heater. I think he's going to have to present different looks. And it's not going to be just one answer, Bill. I think it's going to be he's going to heat him up sometimes with the blitz. Sometimes he's going to pull back. He's going to have to mix in man and zone to do the best that he can to at least give Daniels like a seed of doubt when he's dropping back as to what he's going to see and whether there's going to be somebody coming off of the edge or whether it's going to be a straight four-man press or whether there's going to be a stunt with Jalen Carter coming free. Like, I think it's just a matter of, for a quarterback who just seems so unflappable, just doing your best to throw him off of rhythm as much as you can.
Tim, I know this was asked to Sirianni. I didn't quite get the answer, but he was not nominated for NFL Coach of the Year. And I go, well, listen, I don't lead the Sirianni cheers here. That's my partner does that. But I find it hard to believe that he wasn't even a nominee. And I know the field was crowded. But what was his reaction to that? Any at all?
His reaction was basically like, I don't care. If we win this game, we're going to the Super Bowl, and that's pretty dope. Like, that's what he said.
Yeah. And he made a Jerry Maguire reference, too.
He did. You're not going to make me cry, Roy. Yeah, he used one of those as well. So, I honestly don't think it's like something that's top of mind. I mean, they've been on this sort of charge all season long to wipe away sort of the sins of 2023 and get back to a dance that, they got denied from in 2022. So they've been pretty locked in on that. I think that it works against them that his roster is so good. I mean, some of these other guys that they're going against, it's like maybe you didn't have high aspirations for them from a personnel standpoint, and then they end up getting into the postseason. Like, I think that usually goes further in these Coach of the Year things than the guys who have great teams. But I don't think he really cares.
Yeah, I get that, but my feel is that he still, like, what holds people back from him, even now? And you just put out a reason that his roster's so good. Yeah, I get it, but they had to recreate that defense this year. I don't think anybody was expecting that the Eagles would be this good, but they are, and usually the coach gets credit for that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But, I guess the flip side is that, Fangio probably gets most of the credit, rightfully so, for the turnaround on the defensive side of the ball. And people know from, what he said in reporting that Kellen Moore is in charge of the offense. And so, his role has been more of that CEO overarching coach. But he's answered a lot of questions this year, man. I mean, obviously he's had these guys in the right mindset all year long. Adversity has come and hit this team at different points, and they've responded well to it. So he's not going to get the award, but he's definitely deserves a lot of credit.
I don't think Mike asked you about this. Joe Witt Jr., defensive coordinator for the Commanders, comes out and says, we're going to hit Jalen Hurts like he's a running back. I thought it was a mistake. I thought that he signaled to the referees, hey, you better be on the lookout to throw that personal foul if we hit the quarterback late. I mean, what was your take on that whole situation?
No, that's a good point. I didn't even think about it from the referee standpoint, but that does put them on alert to a certain extent. And I just don't think that this is a team that you want to give anything to. Like, if I just being around this team, like if I were facing them, I would say nothing to the media, nothing. I wouldn't give them, an ounce of extra motivation. So it may have been a misstep from that perspective as well. But, the general reaction around here is like, well, of course. Like, yeah, if a quarterback turns into a runner, you're going to treat that quarterback like a runner. So I don't think that Witt said anything revelatory. It's just a matter of, like, did you need to say it? Does it actually serve you any good? And I think the answer is no to that.
All right, sounds good. I always ask you for the prediction. I haven't wavered all week. I just think they're so much better than the Commanders coming in, and it would really take a genie bottle for the Commanders to walk out there with a win. But how do you see the final here?
Well, so here's the mistake that I'll admit to from 2017. I picked the Vikings in the NFC Championship game, right? And then I pulled into the parking lot, and I was in the parking lot for 2 minutes, and I said, oh my God, I got that way wrong. 3 hours before the game, I'm like, the Eagles are going to win this game. Like, it was there was no way in that environment the Vikings were coming in and beating the Eagles. And now you have an NFC East rival that's coming in for an NFC title game. I've learned my lesson. I know that the link is going to be on absolute, highest energy. Nicky Foles as the honorary captain. You know, the vibes will be good. And the Eagles.
Let's make some noise. Come on.
There it is. You know, beyond all that stuff, you know, the Eagles do have the better roster. They have a suffocating defense. They're going against, you know, what's proven to be just an absolute stud of a quarterback who's going to make his name and his presence felt in this game. I don't think it's going to be a walk away, but I'm going to go 27-24 Eagles to punch their ticket to the Super Bowl.
All righty. There it is. Tim McManus covering the Eagles for ESPN.com. Tim, have a great experience. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds good, guys. See ya.
Tim McManus from ESPN.com joining us every Friday. We will take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll wrap this baby up. We got a couple calls online. The Mike Missanelli Show right here at Rally House in Willow Grove. 97.5, Mike Missanelli Show. I guess we're not going to get Jalen today, but that's okay. We got, you know who we got? We got Ali from Montgomery County. Ali, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Ali?
Hey, how's it going, boss?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I woke up today. Hey, man, I'm down here in Montgomery County, Maryland, and I'll tell you, these Commanders fans have some audacity, man, and they're calling into their sports radio, and they want to hurt Hurts. Long story short, but hey, I have a quick question. So you know how there's this entire narrative about that the Eagles, our style of football, a stout defense and running the ball is not sustainable. Well, I remember just a few years ago, everyone was touting that. Everybody wanted that, system with a good defense and a running back and stuff. So my question to you is, do you guys think that, the NFL is behind pushing this narrative amongst the media so other teams don't copycat or, don't copy this way of football because they want to, make money with more passing and more passing touchdowns?
No, I don't think it's a conspiracy. I just think the Eagles are fortunate enough to have the best running back that's come along in a really long time in conjunction with their offensive line. I mean, it's really hard to stop when you're buttoned down on the offensive line and you have that guy. I think it's really the outlier, frankly. I think this is a passing league. It's always going to be a passing league. But this year, it's not for as far as the Eagles are concerned.
Got it. Okay. And one last question. So everyone is saying, that the Eagles have a stacked roster. Jalen Hurts is only successful because of our roster. Yet they say that, if we go one-dimensional, Hurts can't beat us with his arm. But how is that so? Isn't that contradictory of what they're saying about our stacked roster? If we're so stacked and they were to stop the run, couldn't we just pass the ball?
Well, that's what they're saying, that maybe you can't. But that's all of a sudden, he can't pass. We've seen that he had a big year throwing the football. So I don't know where this comes from other than the style of play means they're not doing it as much, and therefore he can't shine as much. But it doesn't mean that he can't make big throws because he does it all the time.
Yeah, they changed the style. Before the bye, I was a real big narrative pushing this, saying, hey, he can't turn the ball over. He keeps turning the ball over. So they changed the style. He's now not taking risks down the field. He's protecting the ball, and it's a formula that has worked. I don't think it's because he can't do it. I just think they've found this is a formula for success. And you can't argue with 14-2 when Jalen Hurts starts and finishes playing this way.
We forget that's what you all wanted to see. We forget.
Yeah, we do.
How many games ago was that? It wasn't that long ago, was it? But is that what you all wanted to see?
Yeah, that's what you all wanted to see, huh?
Yeah. All right, let's go to Sean in Swedesboro. Sean, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
What's up,
fast
Sean?
on Sirianni. I think the Sirianni love is all soaking into everybody's veins. But, most of the trouble he's gotten himself in over the last few years is really about silly things that come out of his mouth. People were just breaking balls. But I think overall, the fans have settled in to realize that he's a good thing for this team in this city. And, every once in a while, he still sounds like that new and nervous guy when he talks too much and rambles. But, other than that, he's kind of really settled in, and I think he's done a nice job.
The smartest coach in the world. Yeah, he has done a nice job. I don't have any complaints about him at this particular point. I reserve the right to complain later, though.
Correct. If they lose Sunday, I'll complain. But I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But my wife is a Commanders fan, lifelong from Maryland. Her father's a season ticket, and we've been together 8 years. And it's I've never had to worry about the Eagles playing the Commanders in the playoffs, and now I do.
Well, what's this going to be like when you sit down and watch it with her? What's that experience like?
We're already planning. We're planning food for this Sunday.
Yeah, but do you guys go back and forth, or what do you do?
No. She was basically, we watch the Eagles. You know what I mean?
But does she go, if the Eagles turn it over and the Commanders recover at the Eagles 45, does she go, yeah?
Well, yeah, exactly. And here's the funny part. She keeps saying, any given Sunday, we beat you the last time. I'm like, Hunt, they turned the ball over 5 times, and you're playing a backup quarterback. Any given Sunday.
Yeah, I like when you go Hun first, when you go back at her.
Absolutely. God, I'm calling 31-17.
I kind of like that, actually. I kind of like 31-17.
You want to make our formal picks?
All right, let's make our picks. Here we go. I'm going 27-20.
Oh, man.
Eagles.
That's my exact score.
Is it really?
Yes, I got it exactly that way.
And that's a cover.
27-20. And it is. It's barely a cover.
It is.
Right now it is. We'll see if the line moves higher than 6.5.
I may even go up to 30-20. How's that? I'll be different. I'll go 30-20.
30-20 with Jake Elliott kicking a 52-yarder.
No. Get to the 30-yard line for this kid, all right? Anything else, you're not going to get the field goal.
But I'm going 27-20. I just think that the Eagles' defense is going to do enough to shut down Jaden Daniels, and I don't see the Commanders stopping the Eagles' rushing attack. And the Commanders fans who keep pushing, well, look what happened in the second half in Week 16. They forget to realize that Kenny Pickett was in that football game. It's going to be a different experience. But who they playing, Mike? We both got them winning. We both have them going to the Super Bowl.
There
Who
we
they
go.
playing?
AFC title game. The line, Chiefs, 1.5. I got the Bills outright.
Look at this. Me and you seeing eye to eye on everything. I got Eagles, Bills in New Orleans in 2 weeks. I know New Orleans has seen a lot. I'm not sure they're going to be able to handle Eagles fans and Bills Mafia all descending on the city at the same time.
I think it's time for the Bills to break through. All right, it is time for closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
All right, folks, listen. This is the most logical view I can give you. Both teams full strength. Eagles win the game. They're just better than the Commanders. They're home. They're poised to get to the Super Bowl. The crowd's going to be nuts. What the Eagles do best, the Commanders do not stop, and that is running the football. And even though that total 125.5 for take one seems a little low, and I may have to go under, I think they will control the game on the ground. There's no way the Commanders can stop them. And I actually see Jalen Hurts making several big throws with A.J. Brown, the recipient. All right? I'm going to go 30 for the Eagles, 20 for the Commanders. Josh Harris, it's been a nice year for you. Now rebuild the frickin' Sixers, all right? Your season's over. Bill?
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. It could be a win-win for the Eagles because they win, they beat the Commanders, they're headed to the Super Bowl, and then it lets Josh Harris focus on what he should be focusing on, which is our damn Sixers. But I'm right there with you. I think the only reason that the Commanders were able to beat the Lions, it wasn't because they were able to stop them on defense. They gave up over 500 yards. It was because they turned the ball over 5 times. The Eagles don't turn the ball over. The Eagles do not lose the turnover battle. I think you'll see more of that formula this weekend, a big game from Saquon. But I think you're right. Jalen and A.J. Brown are going to have a big game in the passing game. This may be the game where you see A.J. finally appear in the postseason. Go for over 100? That may be my bold prediction. A.J. Brown over 100 yards receiving. Eagles win 27-20. Nolans, here we come.
Inner excellence. A.J., cram it. I want to thank all the people here at Rally House for their hospitality. We had a really good time here. Thanks to the crew. We had a monster crew here today helping us at 97.5 The Fanatic. All you guys, thank you for helping out. And Ray, nice job back at home. And, okay, it's all a matter of waiting for the game to start at 3 o'clock. These are going to be very, very long hours, folks, so spend them wisely. For Bill, for Ray, for all the people here at Rally House, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. And we'll talk to you next week.